Let's go. It's another Saturday. It's another Racing Post Live. Myself, Dave Orton, delighted to be back in the chair with you. 7 races coming your way. Newmarket, HQ as we call it domestically. The crown jewel being the Dewhurst, of course. But the final race for us this afternoon will be the Cesarewitch, the second leg of the awesome double. 32 runners go. Willie Mullins bidding for a 4th straight win. No trainer has ever won it. 4 times before. Willie has got 6 runners, and I've got a feeling some of the panellists might be putting up them as well, with our sponsors, Betfair, along the way. Great to have you. Don't forget, this is a live and interactive show, guys. Get your comments in the chat bars, the communities on Facebook Live or YouTube. We've seen them going crazy in the last couple of weeks. Let's have some fun this afternoon. Anything on Twitter, hashtag RP Live. Okay, who am I joined by? It's great to see the postman back, Charlie Post. Good to be back here, my old man.
Brilliant to be back here, Dave. Yeah,
good time of year for you, isn't it? Because, of course, we've got the Chepstow meeting at the moment as well. The jumpers are hotting up in Ireland. There's more than a whiff of them coming back now.
Oh, it's an exciting time of year, isn't it? Yeah, if you're a jump racing fan, it's all starting to build up nicely, isn't it? We could just do with some rain. I mean...
Oh, come on. Here we go. The first we could do with some rain. He's not even a trainer. Unbelievable. It's been raining the cats and dogs, my man. Anyway, here we go. The first we could do with some rain. He's getting some excuses in already. But, of course, it's all about the flat today. You started off on the flat, didn't you, with Richard Fahey up there? Yeah. Got some perlers for us?
I hope so, yeah, very much so. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I mean, I love the Dewhurst, and I love my freight racing full stop. So
what sort of form are you in?
Form? Always in good form, I think, yeah.
The man next to you is
he in form now?
It's a surprise.
The last time I was on with him, I don't think he tipped a winner on here since...
I tell you what, he's got in his excuse. He's landed a perler, right chin on you already. Yeah. G-Rod is back with us, doing the trading for Betfair today, pressing the buttons.
Great to be back, Dave. Absolutely can't wait for today. I'm really up for it. Fantastic day's racing. Love my flat racing, love my jump racing. And if you like racing, you can't not like today, can you?
No, absolutely right. There's something for everyone, isn't there? But of course, it's flat for us along the way. We'll be keeping an eye on the jumps. Don't worry about that. Any questions to Charlie or indeed G, get them in. Now, drum roll, please. He's back after a slight hiatus. The big hitter himself. Let's go to Dublin. Barry Orr joins us.
Good afternoon, gentlemen. All well, I hope.
Absolutely flying, Barry. You've been off for a couple of weeks. We're delighted to have you back. We know the viewers will be as well. Now, you said to me you've got your laying boots on.
Yeah, I'm going to look to take on a lot of the shorties today, Dave. Has to be done. I think I could make strong cases for getting Native Trail bait and a couple of other Godolphin runners today as well, kicking off with this one, Half-Fit in the opener at 145. But we'll get to that in due course. But yeah, I'm looking to take them on today. I think it's a really good, strong card in Newmarket. Same can be said about York as well, and I think with good chances.
To be fair to Posty, Barry, it has dried up a little bit. We're on unseasonably good weather, I suppose, over here. Not often this meeting is run on sort of goodish ground. I think we can say that. Sound surface, that's what we want to see. You're going to be showcasing the functionality of the exchange for us, Gil, and giving us some sportsbook action as well. All for charity, Barry.
Exactly, yeah. We're hoping to raise a few quid for charity with any of the trades we do. Like you say, to showcase the functionality of the Betfair Exchange and the Betfair Sportsbook as well, where there's a lot of enhancements, a lot of enhanced place terms and price boosts and all that sort of good stuff. So we're just looking to show viewers how these work and how you can use the exchange to your benefit as well as the sportsbook.
Shall we kick off with some sportsbook action? Again, Barry's back.
Yeah,
regular viewers will know that he likes to put up a little multiple for us going along. What's the business today?
We're going to kick off with a little Lucky 15, please, G-Rod. Lucky 15 is 6 doubles, 4 trebles, an accumulator, 1 accumulator, and 4 singles as well. So it's 15 bets, hence it's called a Lucky 15. We're going to do it each way as well for a quid. So it's going to cost us 30 quid, 15 for the win part and 15 for the place part. We're going to kick off in the 145. We're going to back goals for second string in the Godolphin one. I think this horse a really big chance. Very impressed with the way he won. And it was well supported as well in the market. Today he won his maiden in Sandown. I think he's a really, really nice horse, albeit William Buick has chosen to go for Half-Fit. Then in the following race at 220, I'm backing the Coolmore horse United Nations for Ryan Moore. Ryan gives it a very big shout on his blog, which you can read exclusively on betting.betfair. It's United Nations for me there. I'm going to stick with Aidan O'Brien and Ryan Moore as well in the 255. Glenwood. Haven't seen him since he broke his maiden, but the form of that race has worked out well. Obviously, he's been held up in Ballydoyle, but he's coming here fighting fifth, and he's a fresh horse, which is great. And then in the feature event at 335, the Cesarewitch, I'm going to go for one of Willie Mullins' one, Trevor Ross, the horse that finished runner-up in the amateur handicap in Galway, and they've put him away since. So we're going to take that as well. So they're the 4 horses in the Lucky 15. Going to do it, like I said, for a quid each way, costing us 30 quid, and fingers crossed that'll get us a nice few quid for the charity. If even 1, 2, 3, if the 4 of them came in, we'd be quids in.
Everyone's thinking about the jumpers, of course, at Cheltenham Festival, and apart from the first leg, there's a whiff of Irish support there, isn't there, in Barry's Lucky 15? Yeah. It's a demolition job it'll be, so Barry expecting some of the prizes to go across the sea then this afternoon. Thanks for that, Barry. The 145 is, of course, the Zetland Stakes. One of the really good horses over the years, has become a very fashionable race in recent years. And Barry made a very good point about William Buick jumping onto Haffet. This costs I think slightly over 2 million, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, he's
got to ride it, hasn't he, basically? It's not. This isn't like Hurricane Lane and Addy are, is it?
Well, you think it comes down because it's such an expensive horse?
What does it say for Haffet if he doesn't ride it? You don't think there's a bit of politics coming in here, G?
What, stable politics?
Yeah.
No.
This isn't one of your giving a bone theories, is it? I don't know if you know out there, regular viewers, but you occasionally think that the top jockey at a stable, albeit he shares these rides, but it is Williams' choice, isn't it, with Charlie Appleby. You think that occasionally the Rab Havlins of this world, or your understudy jockeys like Shamie Evans, talented as they are, you think they get given a bone every now and then, don't you? This can't be one of them, is it?
Well, I don't think it happens so much with Godolphin because you've obviously got 2 top-class riders, haven't you? I don't think there's too much to read into it, Dave, to be honest with you. I'm not blown away by Haffet. I know that you like Triple Time, didn't you? The horse that beat
Ryan's horse that beat it at Haydock. They think he is a classic contender for next year. He'll certainly be running in classic trials.
But he would need to be if Haffet's going to be 13-8 here, wouldn't he?
Yeah, he's short here, isn't he?
Very short price.
He's got the form, hasn't he? He's got the form in the book.
And they're saying slower ground conditions will help.
That's interesting. All right, so it's drying from good to soft to good there today. Other thing to tell you is stalls, of course, on the... Well, it's actually they're in the centre, but we're expecting them to come across, G, aren't we? On that drying ground. Do you know, originally, this did say that they were going to be on the stand side, and they're usually on the stand side.
Why, do you think they changed their mind?
We've been talking about this, haven't we? This meeting in particular is the one where they've mucked about with the stalls because they've been trying to get rid of what punters call that golden highway on the stand side.
Yeah, but...
We saw it in the Shively Park, didn't we? With Tenebrism, for example.
But the winner yesterday was it Twilight Jet, came right up the far side and won by 5 lengths, didn't it? So I don't know. I sometimes think it's overplayed.
Yeah. All right, OK. Should we get the tips for the team out? Barry, you said you were taking this chap on. Is this going to be a single lay as well as your lucky 15?
Yeah, I'm taking him on in a single lay. Obviously, he finished second to the horse that you alluded to there, Kevin Ryan's horse. Very, very nice type he is. Wouldn't put anyone off having a few quid on him if they fancied him for the 1,000 guineas. He was game as a pebble that day as well in the Betfair Ascendant Stakes up in Haydock on Super Sprint Day. But I just didn't like the way... Now, Haffet was really well supported, Dave. It was plenty of money for him. I think he went off 8 to 11 at the finish. I just didn't like the way he travelled well into the race. The one in front, Kevin Ryan's horse, Triple Time, kind of went out and made off. But when push came to shove on Haffet, he just lugged in behind. He seemed to carry his head a bit funny. I just didn't like his resolution that day, and I'm willing to take him on. He's 2.70 at the moment. We're going to look to take 50 quid out of him, please, G-Rod, to lose about 87 or 90 quid. So 272 we'll actually have to go. Happy to be a price taker here and lay him at 272 and take 50 quid of the backer stake, please. We have Goldspur, who I've already alluded to. I think he's a really nice type. We've also got the horse of Aidan O'Brien's there, Bluegrass, that took a huge step forward for the step up to a mile in the Curragh last day, and he'll really enjoy the mile 2 here, the 10 furlongs. So I think there's plenty of chances in here. I think Haffet is a false price as well. Just didn't like the look of him in Haydock at all.
Aidan O'Brien, 7 runners in the past decade, 2 have won. The Kew Gardens, of course, you remember probably the best of his, and then Norway followed up in 2018. It's a race where they like to bring something unexposed and go from the front. Posty, where are you going with?
I'm good. Well, again, because the 10 furlong thing is an interesting one, isn't it? Because none of these in this field have actually ran over 10 furlongs. You know?
Zetland was off before the likes of Twice Over one over Henry Cecil 15 years ago or whatever. It became a bit of a cup horse type race. You know what I mean? It is now, has become sexier for sure.
So for that point, I've gone with Unconquerable. I mean, he's pretty exposed. He's had a lot of racing.
Good money for this yesterday. He's got the top official rating as well. He's running over a mile.
Yeah, it was a mile the last day behind Royal Patronage, and he kept galloping pretty well. You know, as in he was sort of nearest at the line, and for that reason, I just think he's pretty solid horse. You know, as in he like I said, I mean, he's been very much aggressively campaigned. but I think the step up in trip might suit him. And like I kind of agree with Barry. I think the Godolphin horse is very short.
He looks skinny, doesn't he, G? This is this is one you're taking on.
Yeah, far too short, half it. You said half it's got before. I don't even know if he has. I think Unconquerable's got the best form. I think that last time out run.
Okay, all right.
He was behind
on that.
Royal Patronage and obviously Caraibus, who's running later.
So we've got 3 races for you coming up, 2-year-old wise at Newmarket, all spearheaded by Boys in Blue, short favourites. And the next one coming up, Caraibus, is probably going to be one of the hottest debate horses running anywhere in the next couple of weeks, I would imagine.
Yeah, he's exciting, isn't he, Caraibus? But we'll get on to him, won't we? I think that the Aidan O'Brien horse, Bluegrass, could be the one, Dave. I like the pedigree, obviously, by Galileo out of Quiet Reflection, who, of course, was a top-class sprinter not that long ago.
I know, is it surprising that he's going over the mile 2 then so soon?
Well, a lot of people saying that, but, if you believe Aidan O'Brien, then Galileo's to stay 10 miles.
You went and had a couple of drinks after your shows you did yesterday, didn't you? Was this the chat, was it? You said a couple of people think that. A few people having a go at you, were they?
A few people were saying, well, out of Quiet Reflection, he's either not as fast as they were hoping he was going to be, hence they're running him over a mile and a quarter, or, he just won't stay, one or the other. So we will find out here, though. But he's got...
Aidan we trust for G-Rod.
You've already mentioned that he sort of likes this race, doesn't he? He's always... Yeah. But I don't know if he likes this race. He just has the right types of horses for this race, doesn't he? He has those middle-distance Galileo-type colts and fillies who are going to be good over this sort of trip at this time of year as a juveniles.
I think this will go to the Boys in Blue, but I'm with Barry. I like Goldspur. He impressed me. In fact, I did the close-up comment in the paper for him at Sandown. Did I put impressive? I might have done. You're not supposed to use impressive that much. You've got to keep it sparse, and that's a little bit. I did. I used the word impressive.
The Stores issue worry you at all, or?
I don't know. I don't know. I think he sort of drifted out a bit late, didn't he? Because he gave a bit of trouble. But the ground...
He gave trouble in Epsom. He was withdrawn at the start in Epsom
right.
on his initial run. I don't think he gave much hassle in Sandown, though.
Okay.
No, fair enough,
Fine. So hopefully it was an aberration. And,
yeah,
that's a good point, though. But I like him, and I think, the market has been... You're easy with him because of the Fav, Harfit, the stablemate, and... And like I say, I think William just has to ride half it here. He might go and surprise us by blowing us away, wouldn't it? 2 million they paid for him. Is that?
So you think he's pulled to one side and said, "Look, we need this 2.1 million guinea horse to go in."
You've got to be riding it, William. Absolutely. Okay, all right. Social interaction. That's what makes this show. Who's opening up this afternoon? Chris Timms comes back on and says, "Afternoon, everyone. Rubbish start to the day for me already, Chris. Goldspur can get some early losses back." There you go, hopefully giving you a bit of confidence on that. Get your interaction in, guys. Let's hear from you. Questions for all the panellists. They will answer it out. We'll talk about some jumping as well after this race. I mean, the appetite for the jump season at the minute. I come to you, Posty, like it's your sphere, you know what I mean? Of course, you do flat as well, but the buzz in the, in and around the weighing rooms, stuff like that, and you're heavily involved with the point-to-point sphere and things like that. This is the one we're waiting for, going back on track.
Yeah, well, I mean, look, without doubt, I mean, like a full season, fingers crossed, of spectators back on course. Cheltenham first meeting not that far away, like you say. Chepstow today. Yeah. It's traditionally the kick-off of the jump season proper, and like so much exciting talent to come out in the weeks to come. And if this doesn't whet your appetite right now, if you're a jump racing fan, then nothing does at all, does it?
You got the narrative of the British.
How soon do we start talking about the Cheltenham Festival?
Well, you've done it.
Yeah, but you know what I mean?
It's one of your bugbears, isn't it? We make no apologies for it whatsoever here at the Post, because it's the one everyone wants to go. Cheltenham. You're desperate to get down there again this year, aren't you? But what about King George? Kempton without the crowds last year, that sort of thing. All these meetings, the Ascot meetings, of course, Leopardstown, the Dublin Festival. It's going to be huge, isn't it?
Yeah, it will be. And let's not forget that not only did we miss last year's Cheltenham Festival, no fans there, of course, the previous year, the Grand National didn't even take place, did it? So this, for me, is the real get back to normality for jumps, isn't it? Well, hopefully we're going to get full crowds at all the big meetings, all those great meetings in the run-up to Christmas. And then obviously on to Cheltenham and Aintree towards the end of the year. So
perhaps we'll ask this to our viewers this afternoon. Get your interaction in. Jumps is right around the corner. In fact, some people call this the start of the jump season. Is Chepstow meeting, as Charlie alluded to. Cheltenham only a couple of weeks away, and you've got the November meeting. Which meeting are you looking forward to going back to most? Very interesting. I'd love to make Countryside Day again, the Friday.
That's great.
That is a good day, isn't it? Yeah. That opening day. I usually see Barry Orr there as well. Barry, which meeting, just as they go into the stalls, are you looking forward to going back to most?
Betfair Chase Day.
Yeah, you knew that was coming.
Man Day.
20th of November.
Here, Hafet, very strong, and Goldspur is into 5-2 now from 9-2. So he's been they're only betting the 2 Godolphin horse. Unconquerable, Frankie Dettori riding that for Donegal O'Brien. That's not without a chance on his run in Newmarket last day. He's friendless in the market out to 13-2, and Bluegrass is friendless as well. But the punters seem to think Godolphin will be first and second, with Hafet beating Goldspur.
There you go. Money really coming for Goldspur now. Then good luck wherever you're playing in the 145. I'll do the calls today pretty much. Might need some help. 3:35 comes Cesarewitch time. Get your tips in for that. But right now, the lad's thinking I'm going to need a lot of help. All right, we're off and running then. A fairly level break it was. Where's Hafet then? Of course, he's the all blue colours. He's going to take a good lead, isn't he? Because the outside of Jukebox. Jury might be out with him, I don't know. But on goes Goldspur. Now, this is interesting. Straight after he won at Sandown, this chap, you know, really good and impressive and professionally, look, they nominated this race. Unlike Hafet.
Is he keen, Hafet?
He is a bit keen, isn't he? Also unconquerable as well. Okay, couple of furlongs, Barry. Who does the market really like?
Likes Goldspur into 7-4 now. Hafet pulling a bit out to 2-1, and it's 8 bar the 2 of them at the moment.
Okay, G, have a look at this. Where is your Bluegrass? Got a bit sweaty in mid-pack.
Yeah, he's just out in the middle there. I don't think he's going that well, to be honest with you, Dave. You'd quite like to be on Goldspur, wouldn't you? Given the way that the hot favourite appears to have pulled his way to the front. He's settled a bit now, though, Hafet.
Yeah,
and he's getting an easy
kept
lead
them
now.
apart, haven't they, Charlie? Do you think this is, you know, they don't want them eyeballing each other, do they?
Yeah, I mean, look, whether that's been a deliberate tactical movement. For me, I think William Buick has decided to let Hafet slide on because he was keen and hope that he's going to sort of relax a bit more in front. A bit like we saw with the horse in the Ark, you know, as in that almost it was, yeah, as in he had to go
Pay
there.
$2 million for this chap. You want to be winning a Zetland Stakes, don't you? Let's face it. Okay, where's Unconquerable then, Charlie?
He's tracking Hafet down on the inside rail. I think G-Rod said maybe he was a little bit keen early, and he was, but he switched off lovely now, and he's getting to try and get right up on the fence.
Trying to get racing now, Dave.
They are. They're nearing the dip then. Okay, who's going
low? 4-1
low?
Hafet.
Yeah, he is. He's rowing around. And Unconquerable looks like he might have it. But at the moment, it's Goldspur then. What will Bluegrass do? All the outsiders really finding this a bit hot. I'd suggest this is not a bad renewal of this whatsoever. Now Hafet comes back a little bit more as Goldspur thinks about the dip. You can hear Barry getting excited. Go on the Goldspur. Let's shine. Here comes Unconquerable. Big 3 in the market then. Can Donica upset the boys in blue? Let's find out. Frankie Dettori. Looks like Goldspur might just take it out. Is he going low? Hafet is coming back for more mine.
Come on, Unconquerable. Come on, Unconquerable!
He's going for it.
Come on, Unconquerable!
He's not Unconquerable. Oh, that's on the nod. Oh, Posty, I've never seen you so much. You can tell who the man backed in the studio here. Frankie got a right tune out of him. I think, Barry Orr, we can say that Hafet was probably third.
Hafet's third, yeah. What do you think's won, lads?
You've won it. You've won it.
Aye.
Yeah, I thought Goldspur. He's 101 on the exchange, Goldspur. 101, 1,000 Hafet, 100 Unconquerable. Yeah. Yeah, I obviously it's clear to see that obviously William Buick had a very hard decision which one to ride, but I think the market got it way wrong there before. I'm not throwing bouquets at myself or anything, but the market came for Goldspur, as we know, at the finish. But yeah, right ding dong battle, great to watch, and our lucky 15's off to a flying start.
Hey, happy days, and we got the lay of the Hafet in as well. I'll blow his trumpet, don't you worry about that. And here we go again. Yeah, I tell you what, that's made the highlight reel as well. The previous time we said, don't go there, Posty.
No comment.
Delete image. G's thinking in the corner there. But listen, he's back. The Group 1 big hitter himself. He told you to lay Hafet. He told you to back Goldspur. We got it right. Posty give you the Unconquerable as well. Few people napped that, didn't they? Bluegrass, a bit disappointing, G, didn't it? What do we make of the form, Graeme?
It was a good race, wasn't it, Dave? And they've come miles clear of the rest. However, I'm not quite sure what's in behind them. I suppose time will tell on that score.
What are we looking at? Derby type horses?
Do you reckon they're up to that?
16 from 33 for the Derby, lads.
Yeah,
Derby.
if there's one horse you're taking out of it, it's got to be Goldspur, isn't it?
Yeah, it has to be. Yeah.
Berkshire Rebel, Oshie Murphy back riding for Andrew Balding. He ran on a little bit towards the end after looking very green. You maybe take him out of it, but Goldspur, I think, he's the one, isn't he? Hopefully, this is what you get when you're watching RP Live. You get the absolute unrivaled expert analysis pre-race and post-race. And
it looked a bit steady away, didn't it?
Yeah, well a bit slow.
Yeah. I don't know. I'd be interested to see the times that.
It's a job as an analyst if ever you want it, because the first thing you teach them to do, pour cold water on it if you're not sure.
But do you think it looked like that a bit or not? As in, I did like the expensive horse Hafet came and looked. He didn't know whether he wanted to go left or right.
Green to me, Goldspur. I'm not sure he totally was enough
you think
with
could
the
be
dip.
improving. You know,
he looked like he was going to win well, didn't he? And then
it looked a slow finish, to me.
Yeah.
You're with Posty.
Yeah, I thought it looked like hard work.
Showing a great attitude, though, hasn't he?
He's the one to take out of it because he's only had the one
loved
run
his
and he's still
attitude.
raw. But I thought the favourite, keen, and then didn't know which way he really wanted to go when he came under
Buick.
pressure.
Ridden the best.
The favourite.
Yeah, go on, Barry.
I just thought in Haydock, the favourite didn't look like he was in love with it when he got into a bit of a tussle that time with Kevin Ryan's horse, Triple Time.
Do you not think it looked a bit the same way there, Barry? Like, as in,
I just question his resolution just a little bit, Charlie. Now, I know that could be cruel on the horse,
Yeah,
and he's only had 3 runs, but yeah, I'd be a layer of him every time.
He's not done him too many favours, G, has he? He's come quite close to him. James Doyle sticking the wrong hand, and he's been the meat of the sandwich there. We've been a bit harsh on half fit. This is 2 million guineas they pay for this chap.
2 million guineas of.
They're not getting it back right now.
As we've
anyway.
said, it's tiddlywinks.
They're not getting it back right now anyway. Either.
I think we're being a bit harsh on him.
Yeah, because he was very keen early, wasn't he? He let him straight on. It probably wasn't the plan.
Yeah.
If you saw him going out of the gates, we will move on, guys, in a minute. This is
He
fascinating.
could have ducked right out of it and ended up
Yeah.
being well beaten, but
William almost did a bit of an Adiyar, as you said, didn't you? There, you know,
I'd have said so,
which
yeah.
in the Arc last week there was no pace. Adiyar had to go on. He's actually run his life out, hasn't he? You know,
it was a great race. It was a great race
a
to
good
start,
race.
wasn't it? A real three-way go.
Right, we are off and running here on RP Live. Who weighed in with Barry then? Gold Spur shines in the first. Shall we go up to the Naysmar? We've got 3 beauties coming from York for you. There you go, you can see it. It's tricky race, this Rockingham Stakes, Barry. You've got sales form, you've got 2-year-olds that might be over the top. Where is the big man going this time?
Yeah, I thought Evergreen has done nothing really wrong all season, Dave, to be fair to him. He's 4.2 on the exchange. I thought Gisburn had a chance as well, Canonize. Outside of those 3, I wasn't given much hope for anything else. Just last day for Evergreen, he was second in that sales race over 6.5 furlongs, just bugged on the line. That half a furlong just did him. He traded at 1.13 on the exchange before Harrow just got up to nut him. The time before that, he was a course and distance winner of the sales race when he beat Atomic Lady and Wings of War. And Wings of War has gone on to win the Millreef, a Grade 2 race, a Group 2 race in Newbury, which is decent form. And I think Evergreen's held his form in fairness to him. So we're just going to back him. We're going to have 25 quid on Evergreen at 4.2.
Okay, yeah, again, you're right, Barry. He sort of has to be favourite, doesn't he? He's lovely, tough, sales form. Drawing 12, which is interesting. Kingscote and Dascombe, solid course and distance winner. It's just whether he's had too many runs for me this year. I was going for something completely different, but where are you landing?
He's a very tough horse, isn't he? That's the one thing you'd say about Evergiven. I mean, he literally just every time comes out and gives you everything that he's got, and that's all you can say about him. Yeah. You know how good he is. We know how good he is. He's probably not particularly improving anymore, but he sets a good level. You know he's going to run to it, and it's going to take a good horse to beat him. I think he's the most likely winner.
He's a sort of horse you'd love to own, isn't he? I mean, he's earned a right few quid this time round. Would you know what he costs as a yearling?
Is that one of these moments where someone asks a question already knowing the answer?
No, I don't.
He loves to do that.
I honestly don't. I'm just saying.
One of those annoying things out there when someone's like, I wonder what won the 1995 King George. You know, knowing the answer. No, I shouldn't.
Do you remember the time when
40 grand he was at
40
Goffs,
grand?
according to the Racing Post website.
Yes.
Goff's UK Premier Yearlings from
Wow.
Rockbarry Stud for £40,000.
And he's won the best, just over 170.
Well, he's a horse you'd love to own, isn't he? You know,
It's a great advert for still getting involved with ownership, and you got not with sticks. You never get your money back, but I don't know if you go get a decent 2-year-old with Dascombe, and they'll probably sell him as well.
And I was going to say he could go to Hong Kong or somewhere like
wherever they go these days.
But he is a real success story, isn't he? From an ownership point of view.
So is this the tip then? Are you waiting with Barry? Where are we going then, Posty? He said he's got a right old chance.
Yeah, I don't know. Gisburn I've gone for, as in I just thought there was quite a lot of chat about him before the Coventry, wasn't there? And look,
6-1 he went off for that.
it didn't really happen. I mean, if he'd won the Coventry, he definitely wouldn't be running in this. But I mean,
Hold his head off, didn't he?
He was keen, and it's like he's been given a lot of time to get over it. He was very good in a good time at Newbury before that, and I just thought 9-2 was. Is it value? I thought it possibly was, because if he can bounce back to the reputation he had going into Royal Ascot, 9-2 might look pretty big after this.
Okay, all right, so 1 for the Hannons. I'm going to weigh in with the other Hannon runner, a bit like our first race. We've got 2 from the same stable. I like Witch Hunter, who, you've got time, look back in your members section on the replays, check this one out at Salisbury last time. Flies after running green. I quite like the draw in stall 2, actually, guys. It's often low these days on the sprint side at York. In fact, stall 3 won it last year. Stall 6 twice before that. Stall 9. So actually only once in the last 10 years has he gone to a double-figure stall. So whether there's something in that, I don't really know. I appreciate that Sean Levy is sitting on Gisborne.
Yeah.
And that probably is the one maybe going forward. But I just liked everything about it, Witch Hunter last time. It's not the sort of race that I want to be going mad in. You said to me yesterday, G, when we were chatting in the morning before we started our work yesterday, these 2-year-old races do your head in a bit, don't they?
2-year-old races are hard because you just don't know which stages of their career these horses are at. We know that Ever Given, we know he's the sort of horse that we do know as a 2-year-old. We know where he is. But the problem we have is we don't know where the rest of the rivals are. Some of them might not have shown the same level that Ever Given has, but they might not have run as many times. They might be open to endless amounts of improvement. And for us, looking in from outside, we just don't know whether they've made that improvement or not. And I just think these are the sorts of races it really helps if you've got some sort of inside into the stables and you have some know-how with the juveniles and where they rank in the yards, which I don't, of course.
Did you see who was entered at the 5-day stage?
No.
Hala Athmani.
Was she?
Our favourite named horse of the entire year.
Yes, such a shame she didn't
Do
win
it
that
Just
day,
wanna
wasn't
do
it?
This was, of course, the perfect Clyde, wasn't it, that we saw
Yeah,
at
such a
on the
shame.
Gold Cup day.
Such a
We
shame.
thought she was the second coming for the Ryans. Turns out she probably is, but
course.
far too green and came only third.
Cannon Eyes finished just ahead of her
Yes.
at Ayr. And
Strong travelling horse that's been on the go for a long time, hasn't she? And
yeah, and she is another one a bit like Ever Given in that she might not be making a huge amount of progress this time of year, but you know that she's going to be giving it her all. She run to a level. Is it going to be good enough? I would prefer Ever Given because I think he's tougher, but we will find out, Dave.
all right, the tips are out there then. It's 2:02. Still not over the moon about these new races.
Just going back to your
times, you know.
jockey booking for the Hannon thing, the only thing I would say is if, you know what you were saying about the cost of the Godolphin Yearling, that being why Buick. If this is a keen horse, maybe Sean Levy rides him every day at home, and therefore, irrespective of which he thinks he has a better chance, maybe he has to ride. Do you know what, as in, so you could look at it from that point of view.
You forget that Dane O'Neill started with the Hamdans,
he
don't you?
did,
Because,
yeah.
of course, the Hamdan job has been his for such a long time. But he, of course, you know, he was down there, wasn't he? So, interesting. We're looking into a bit of the rider arrangements as well. Keep your tips coming in then throughout the afternoon. We will give you a shout. Cesarewitch, of course, at 3:35. Who wins it? Who's the number one of the Mullins contingent? MC Muldoon, Ryan Moore rides, but of course Barry has already done the Lucky 15 with Fevros as well, just to compound matters. It looks like the market sort of got it right to me, this Cesarewitch. Can we just have a quick word on that?
Yeah, looks that way, doesn't it? The MC, it's a really mature market, isn't it? Because we've known pretty much the runners for a long time. The anti-post market's been up there for a long time. Tom Siegel put up his 2 tips a long time ago. Both of them shortened dramatically. And it's one of those markets that you look at now and go, where's the value now? But there will be one.
Yeah, of course. Sometimes you look at the Cesarewitch and go, they've missed that one. High draw, of course. Amazing, these staying handicaps. You see it at Ascot, don't you? Obviously at Chester and the likes of that. But even at Newmarket, you've got the higher the better, really, the Cesarewitch.
Yeah, that doesn't really make any sense.
MC Muldoon
to me.
15. No. So, okay, listen, I remember when Great White Shark won last year, Barry. You know, Jason Watson rowing away from 2 miles out pretty much, one of the rides of the season. I said, next year, Dave, whatever you do, just back a Mullins horse.
Yeah, he's set you a real puzzler this year, hasn't he? Just running the 6 of them, and he hasn't got a great record with favourites in his either. I think just one of his winners has been a winning favourite. So, you know, he's thrown a lot of darts at it. It seems to be a puzzle that he's managed to unpick Willie Mullins when you look at his recent record in the racing. I'm sure he's earmarking horses from a long way out for the Cesarewitch in October every year. And it's one of those races where he's got such good ammunition and he seems to have a lot of the types of horses that run well and win Cesarewitch is in the yard.
Yeah, it's amazing how these staying flat handicaps tend to go to jumps trainers, isn't it? Okay, on this show as well, we give you free premium content, of course. There is the Spotlight Verdict. And you get that in the members section of your Racing Post cards and all that sort of thing. Canonised is the nap for the team today, which is quite interesting. Seeing as there are some other big races there. David Bellingham. Wow, King of the Sand, we call Dave Bellingham. He loves his all-weather racing. He is a shrewd judge. and he's napped Canonised. That's interesting. Let's get some more social interaction up as well before we go back to the panel and call this tricky 2-year-old race. Come on, Yvonne Rorik, one of our regulars, comes on and says, I like the look of Witch Hunter on debut. Ditto with Dave. The Commander going with me. Good stuff. Fall in line. What do we got? Who's coming up? There we go. Manny Draycott comes back on and says, Canonised for me, agreeing with Dave Bellingham, the King of Sand. Will she just be one run too many, or is she just going to outclass this lot? And Frizzy Red, another one of our regulars. Great to have you back, Frizzy, says, agree with Rodders. Betting on 2-year-olds is dangerous. If the ground was terrible, and we should actually say, shouldn't we, it's definitely juicier at York. If the ground is terrible, that's when I start to worry about the 2-year-olds. You know, I'm like, when the heavens open, when we get it near the Vertem Futurity, or what's that, on the 23rd, or is that 30th, isn't it, of course, of October? Is that right? I might be a week
It is,
out.
yeah. It's the last Saturday in the month. Yeah.
Okay, great. Thanks, Barry. And that's when the ground goes, that's when I start to worry about the 2-year-olds.
Why?
Because A, they might be over the top. B, they might, that's when the physicality comes into it. You're not sure what.
23rd, actually, Dave. Sorry, apologies. 23rd,
okay.
Saturday the 23rd, yeah.
I thought it might have been. That is the 30th. I'm trying to think what that is. That's a bit of a confounding one, actually. It might be one of those quieter weekends. That's when the ground tends to go. And that is when you'll back something in a novice race that you think has got a great chance. And you're just like, hang on a minute, beaten after a furlong, That's when it's silly season kicks in for me, when the ground's gone. At the moment, we're looking good. Do you think it will be good ground? The forecast looks good for Champions Day. We're doing it all live, of course.
Yeah, I mean, there's not a lot of rain about, full stop, is there? I don't think.
Wow, Mishriff. Good comments from.
Well, then you know what that'll mean if the ground's good. We won't get to see Trusham, will we?
No, he'll probably wait a week later. We spoke to Holly Doyle yesterday, didn't we? And looks like she might go
Shame for her, that was
Royal Oak. Yeah, she was very frustrated about it.
Yeah.
She played it with a very straight bat yesterday when we interviewed her, didn't she? But
Yes.
I can sort of let you in. She was not happy.
No.
About that. So, a lot going on. A lot going on in the riding ranks at the moment. Barry, Ever Given, is he strengthening?
Yeah, really strong now. Into 5-2 on the exchange, having been earlier around the 7-2 mark. 5.1 Canonised, 9-2 Gisburn. Witch Hunter is 7. There's a few quid for an outsider here. Sandbeck was 44 into 28 now. One of Tim Fitzgerald's, one in Carlisle that Billy's made, and the race didn't work out well at all, but there's a few quid for.
SDS, of course. Interesting to see Tim Fitzgerald with a David Armstrong recruit as well. So good luck. An outsider coming in for money. Where are they going in the 202? The first of 3 races today at York. I said that a low draw is often profitable, and the outsider Sandbeck that came in for support from stall 1, ploughing a lone furrow. But it's Gisburn up front. Cashew, Holly Doyle, she's back finally on domestic shores. She's riding Witch Hunter. A little bit keen, but off the base, got a target there. Ever Given, exactly where you wanted to see it, Barry, at halfway.
Yeah, very much so. He's travelling well in himself, and he's right up there in the foreign line. He's not going to meet any traffic problems, but from a in-running point of view, very little. Canonised into 4.7, Evergreen into 2-1.
Laheg catching the eye as well for Marco Botti. Posty, 2 funnels out.
Yeah, I mean,
Going well, this Fav, Dave.
Gisburn travelling all right. I mean, the favourite is travelling very strongly, as in eyes drawn to him.
He's going to win this, Fav.
Are you
6
sure?
to
Yeah, the
4
Fav's
on.
on the final. 6 to 4 on. He's gone low. Come on, Witch Hunter. Right down the outside. This is where you want to be low. If she does anything like it did at Salisbury last time, Canonised there as well. For plenty of you out there, will the nap for Dave Bellingham and the viewers. Looks like Canonised is going to see her off. Witch Hunter far too green. Ever Given, flattered to deceive.
This is closer than you think, Dave.
This is Canonised, isn't it? All the way. I've called it too soon, have I?
No, you're all right. You're all right.
Oh, I'm going to be second there. I tell you what, Ever Given, 1 run too many maybe this season. Couldn't even hold off third from fast finishing Breeze Easy of Dave Evans. Barry Orr, 2 finals out, 2 went clear on the far side. Ding dong battle again we've had.
Yeah, it was a cracker, wasn't it? Ever Given, you said in your commentary, flattered to deceive. Hit a low of 1.60 on the Betfair Exchange. Ever Given just for small money. Your winner, Canonised, had a Betfair SP of 5.1, so just a 4-1 chance. Didn't trade at all high in the run, save for about 20-odd quid at 11. What was runner-up? Was it Witch Hunter?
Witch Hunter, yeah.
Yeah, Witch Hunter hit a low at 2.12, which is just a little over 11 to 10.
Yeah, I never thought it was looking like it was. I'm not surprised by that, Barry, whatsoever. I thought that Canonised always looked like it held it. So we've seen 1 2-year-old that probably looked a little bit over the top in Ever Given. Just travel, G, no turn of foot. And Canonised, remarkable filly, really, considering she was running at Windsor in May and things like that.
Yeah, well, jockeys got it wrong, aren't they, here, Dave? I mean, they're up the wrong side, aren't they? Ever Given and the other one. I mean,
Here we go. The bear has been poked.
Well, the first-
on the second race, his
the first
goat has got.
the first to come up the other side, and they're well
You're suggesting
clear.
that's cost a fav?
I don't think it's made a difference between winning and losing, but they've been beaten a mile, haven't they?
He's
on
running
this
12
side?
though, isn't he, G? What? You're not.
Tom Marcan been out there walking the track, do you reckon, Dave?
Very, very possibly. Yeah, Aussie Tom, absolutely.
It was on the second day, O'Neill, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that was drawn in 2. That was always likely to come down the middle.
And
Yeah,
let's
I
be
suppose-
honest, you're saying there, I mean, he could easily have come either side, Tom Marcan. because he was
Kingscote
right in
had the
middle.
option to drift across, didn't he? And he kept stand side.
Well,
there.
I'm not, he's obviously not
It's
costing the
difficult
win,
from
has
that
he?
draw to push him out of way and just end up the other side.
He's
You know,
having a
isn't-
shocker, isn't he? He's having an absolute.
Well,
I mean, what I think you can
on
applaud
that side.
is a very tough filly. No, it's a fifth run in about 5 weeks. You've been to Longchamp as well.
She ran
She ran
twice,
twice
of
some
course,
consecutive
at
days at Ayr.
Yeah.
What did you say before the race? You said that this always goes towards drawn low, and then they all came up the stand side. So that
Stall
don't make
5
any
beat stall
sense, does
2.
it?
What was wrong with that? I was absolutely
Well,
spot
you were
on.
right, but that's what
But you
I'm
just
saying.
mean the whole lot of them should have come.
I mean,
the other
yeah,
side.
why are they all racing on this side
Yes.
when the two leaders come up the far?
I'll give you that. I think the pace was Gisborne, wasn't it?
Well,
Which
you
was
know,
Sean Levy in 8. He could have maybe gone across.
I was riding it. I might have looked at the stats and said, oh, well, everything drawn low here goes well, so I'll go where the low
They've
numbers
not even
are
explored
drawn.
the right side, so we've got a big sprint.
I reckon
coming up later.
in the next races you'll see him go the other side.
He's warming up, look.
he's
You've missed this, haven't you?
I have missed this.
You've missed this. He's all right. So we're warming up. But who out there went for that? A lot of love you out there. Did you get the forecast? Canonised witch hunter. That might have been right. A good start made on the show then.
I'm concerned if G-Rod's riding the 2-year-old, we've got a welfare issue there.
Poor horse.
Yeah, absolutely. There's obviously a shy.
I do think it's an interesting point he makes when you look at the information that maybe there should have been a bit more background gone into that.
Yeah, okay, great stuff. Let me give you some times. Okay, we've had one race, of course, at Newmarket on the show. It was slowed by 3.46 seconds. I'm not sure about the wind there today, but that slow motion finish in the Zetland, it's definitely still on the easy side, isn't it?
Yeah, well, was that a Newmarket?
That's Newmarket in the Zetland.
Oh yeah, that's fairly slow, isn't it?
3.5, yeah.
Because later on the card there, Nicky Anderson was talking about buzz, and the horse doesn't really want fast ground, he was saying. So it'll be interesting to see if Buzz lines up. I think he will if the ground's riding that slow, Dave.
It's even slower at York, isn't it? You actually gave me a little foot tap there, didn't you, underneath the desk? You were like,
We're
check
working
out the...
together.
Well, this is great, isn't it? You know, the old commentators with the football, they used to have like an old tin
Did they?
between them, and they used to knot knees. That's what they used to do. Like Motson, that was his thing. He used to have like, I don't know.
What, so they don't speak at the same time?
And they tap, and he'd tap away rather than, jumping in, which is what you tend to do with me. I can't tap you. I've not been able to do it. I have to live with G-Rod.
Nudge me and I'll tap him.
There you go, no worries.
That's why they put me this end, you that end.
All right, we are having some fun. And the targets haven't been too bad so far. 2 races in, we've got 5 more to come for you. Myself, Dave Orton, Charlie Post back in the studio with G-Rod and Barry Orr as well. Let's go to Barry then. It's the Autumn Stakes, Barry. You can see a classic horse in this. Is Caribus the one?
Yeah, Caribus 1.82 on the Betfair Exchange. Obviously, last day he traded at 101. The basement price on the Betfair Exchange, 100 to 1 on 33 grand matched at that before getting done by royal patronage in the Royal Lodge. So, he burnt a lot of fingers that day. I'm sure they'll be holding on to him today a lot longer, William Buick. But what I'm going to do is I'm not going to lay him as such. I'm going to back something else in the race, and I'm going to back United Nations. 1 over 7 furlongs and made all in Nace, stepping up to a mile here and into a Group 1 company or into Group Company. So it's a big ask, but he seems to be a very, very nice horse. There was a few quid for him that day in Nace as well, which was always nice to see. Shamey Heffernan rode him. Paris Peacock was second that day, but the third Herring Island has won since. And I wouldn't be surprised to see them make plenty of use of United Nations today in this race either. Ryan gives him a decent shout in his blog on Betfair. We're just going to have 25 quid win on him, please. Obviously, there's so many unexposed types here, and he's been friendless in the market as well, it has to be said. He's 16 now. He was as short as 8 to 1 at one stage today. So he's almost doubled in price. We're going to have 25 quid win on him. He's not going to get knocked around if he's not there or thereabouts. So that's why I'm backing win only and not win and place, as some people might imagine you should, with him being 16 in the win market and about 4 or 5 in the place market. But win only for me, United Nation.
I can totally understand that, Barry. He's not an each-way horse, is he? I don't think. This will either hit the line strong and probably outclass them. There's every chance of that, or he might be a work in progress. Of course, Aidan O'Brien has had, let me remind myself, in the last 10 years, 13 runners of this, 8 have placed for 0 success. Do you remember the horse that won the Classic that finished second to Persian King a couple of years ago? I've just done it. I've just asked a question, knowing the answer, so I'm going to take the mantle. It was, of course, Magna Grecia. The two of them came clear in another ding-dong, and Magna Grecia, we all know what happened the following year. That was his big day in the sun, the Classic winner. So beaten horses can even prove themselves to be top class at 3. Coribus G, a couple of weeks ago in the Royal Lodge, fortnight ago in course. This is why this show is such fun, isn't it, to do? Because we watch them go clear, we're reacting to the markets, you can see it all live, the market in running. You thought you'd seen Frankel a furlong out.
Yeah, oh God, everything went beautifully, travelled, peeing away, went 5 lengths, second come in, 2,000 guineas favourite, here we go. Exciting.
What happened?
And then suddenly, bang, beaten by Royal Patronage.
Was he 101, Barry, did you say in that?
Yeah, 101. 101 on for 33 grand, Dave.
And he got beaten by the Aiken winner, Royal Patronage. We've seen Unconquerable, though, in third, has definitely, solidified the form, hasn't he?
Well, yeah.
Come on.
Would worry me the way that this all got beat. I mean, if you go clear, that far clear, and then you don't win, there has to be something.
Surely
strange.
they're going to hold on to him more. I mean, I heard Ross Briley talking to you last night saying sectionally, subsectionally, or didn't he? He said something some ridiculous Briley word or whatever he said.
Subsectionally.
Subsectionally, yeah, which is absolutely ridiculous, Ross. But he pressed the button too soon, didn't he? I don't think we can argue with that. He must have thought, did he feel like he was on track? See you later.
Yeah, he must be on the best horse in that race, mustn't he?
Calm as you like, Buick, isn't he? He's a very calm rider.
But you wouldn't like to see a horse. You would think that a horse that's goes that far clear, looks that good, would have the ability to last home. You know,
but the people that are keeping the faith with this chap, and he has now got a big following. This for a lot of people is one of the most exciting horses of the weekend because we want to see. Was it too soon? Did he curl up mentally? What did you say last night as I was listening to you? You said, how has he not won that?
Well, yeah, how's he not? And yeah, I mean, you can say that he's gone too soon, but I mean, William Buick was riding, wasn't he?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, he's ridden many, many horses over many, many years. Loads of winners at Newmarket. He knows when to go for a horse and when not to.
He was quite keen early, the horse, but again, it wasn't enough to make you think.
Has he got a hole in him?
That's the question. And at odds on, we don't really want to be taking a chance, do we? So who is going to be the chance? You were with the Balding Horse yesterday?
Yeah, I'm with the Balding Horse, Imperial Fighter, who of course was beaten by Royal Patronage at York last time, but I thought shaped a lot more like he would be improving for a mile. He was staying on strongly over 7. York's fairly fast 7, isn't it? This mile will really suit him, and I'm not entirely sure that the mile will be ideal for the Bav either, because of course, he was very weak at the finish last time, and I thought maybe we might see him drop down in trip, but maybe they want to learn something about him here, Dave, as well. Maybe they want to learn whether he really is going to be a miler next year. It's a fascinating race because of this horse, Coribus.
And the one name we keep mentioning is Royal Patronage, of course, the Royal Lodge winner. Watch it back. You've got time. Let us know. Did he curl up? Did Buick go too soon? Whatever you think. Apparently, people were going up to Charlie at the furlong post, Appleby, the trainer, and patting him on the back, weren't they, and saying, well done. It's like, that's a Dave Orton to do that, Yeah, got it in the bag, man.
You managed to get Charlie and Post in the same sentences without talking actually about Charlie Post, which is brilliant there.
There you are. All right, very good. Well, I'm glad you're listening, G. Yeah. First time for everything. Selection, please.
Which, I mean, it's completely unoriginal. And
you think Coribus will win? Well, finally, someone giving him another chance.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I think we've talked earlier on about giving horses they only have one run in their life and whatever else. I'm fascinated to see how William Buick's going to ride them today. I think
he's in stall 11 as well, isn't he?
So interesting.
Nearest the stand side, and we saw them on the far side. It'll be very interesting where they go. Ryan Moore, of course. Barry Selection United Nations in 9. I thought Dubai Poet was a player.
Yeah.
He's in stall 10. So nearer the stand side, the big players seem to be. Will they come up the middle? We've got Dewhurst, of course, coming up. Really looking forward to seeing by far the best 2-year-old in training running in that.
Without doubt. But I mean, there's some interest, there's some really potentially very interesting horse in this. Do you not think in this race now?
Yeah. Such as?
Well, like you say, Dubai Poet, Imperial Fighter, as in the Aidan O'Brien horse, United Nations.
So are you surprised that he's...
Yeah.
So are you surprised that he's held his price?
Not because he
could have drifted, couldn't he?
He's become a bit of a sort of...
The books are out to get this bloke, aren't they? Like, G, he's got a hole in him. G hates excuses, and that was... How many did they make after that?
For sure, but like I said, for me anyway, I'm saying it's his second run of his life. He's hit the front. I think too early, personally.
Yeah.
And I think you're going to see him definitely delay his challenge longer.
Surely.
Sure. Well, it'd be surprising if he doesn't.
I mean, he's got some cajones on him, hasn't he, Buick?
Yeah.
But
Is that the way? That's not the way to ride Newmarket either, though, is it? To hang on and hang on and hang on.
Not really. Not really.
You want to go and then
you want to get momentum into the dip, don't you? And
kill the race, and then you don't get caught. But
that depends where you're making your run from, doesn't it? As in, you can be going.
you can sweep past them a little bit.
You can, but what I'm saying is, depending where you time your challenge
We
from.
saw
you can
in
be picking up
Spiral
into
took
the
out
dip still to hit the
the
front.
Phillies Mile yesterday, didn't we? Everyone, I'm assuming, watched that. And Frankie definitely got there plenty soon enough. Afterwards, apparently, he was saying, once again, I hit the front too soon, but I don't want to give it away at Newmarket. Winning was the imperative thing. What do we make of Inspiral yesterday? What do you make of Caribas? That's the question. Spotlights, they like him. They're putting him up. Who else? Paul Bakewell. Welcome back along, Paul. Don't like backing favourites, but Caribas look good. Paul, you would have been watching when we saw that show the other day. It was remarkable, wasn't it? Keeping the faith. This will be in lots of multiples as well, of course, this chat. Nick Palfrey comes on. Nick, good to have you. On Caribas at 20s for the Guineas. I hope he's better than Native Trail. Expect a big run. Well, this is interesting. A lot of people were thinking he was better than Native Trail in the Royal Lodge. Of course, Frank will come out of the... Oh, he's the classic, isn't he, in the Royal Lodge? Again, thanks to Frankel, it's become a much sexier race with classics in mind.
I was there when he won that race, the Royal Lodge.
Frankel.
Super, wasn't it? Won by a long way. And he was a horse who, in my opinion, was sent for home far too soon in a lot of his races. Early in
St
his
James
career.
Spanish Stakes. That was nearly...
Guineas.
That was, yeah, the git or the...
He was set to win his race after a furlong.
But because of that, the Guineas was. I've never seen a
Stop the
performance
clock.
like that in my life.
What was second in the Guineas that year? Do you remember?
Fresh air.
Celebration.
Very good. Straight in with that one. It must have been a horse called Fresh Air. Was it Debarwi Gold?
Was it Jabari Gold?
Debarwi something, wasn't it?
Celebration? No, was that the year? Was he the year?
No, that was not in the Guineas. Celebration's on the backside of Frankel.
Yeah, a lot. Yeah.
And that's still one of Aidan O'Brien's best horses according to RPRs. You know. We're talking 2-year-olds. It is not, of course, the end of the season, but for 2-year-olds, this is pretty much as good as it gets now. Of course, we've got the Vertem Futurity, the old Racing Post Trophy, of course, but this is the day where you've got to be sending your best horse. So we're looking at about the 4 to 5 mark, Barry, aren't we?
Yeah, 185 now. He was 192. He went on a little slide, just a little bit of support back in 186, 88 Dubai, Poet, Imperial Fighter 9-4, and it's 15 bar United Nations around the 15 mark.
Okay, thank you then, Barry. Okay.
Is there anything in this name, United Nations? That was a lot of talk about this last night. United Nations. Ballydoyle like to give good horses good names, and United Nations is a name they might have saved for a good horse.
This has got the Westerberg tag, hasn't it? Of course, who is the Swiss billionaire who we saw
Opal.
Tenebrism. And there's a lot of US lines there as well. So could this be BC Brown? At the end of the month.
Doubt it.
Yeah.
No, not good. What? Not? Yeah, but you think
Galileo.
Yeah, it's good.
It's not their MO.
Not
with a
racy,
horse
is it?
Like this,
he
usually
be
they
quick
send
enough?
over horses that have had plenty. They're hardy horses, 2-year-olds to the Breeders' Cup. It wouldn't be their MO to send a Galileo. It's just had 2 runs.
Okay, yeah. Listen, absolutely. That's a very fair point. Why is he so weak in the bet in this one, Barry? It's confounding me. This.
I don't know. His horses hit a bit of a lull. The 2-year-olds have been quite quiet, but in the last 3 to 4 weeks, they've really taken off, and they've taken a massive step forward from their first run to their second. So it was really encouraging to see this guy win first time up. Obviously, they knew in Nace what they had, that he'd stay, and Shamey sent him off to the front straight away, and he made all. Now, I don't think he has to go off in the front here, but they'll try to settle him, I'm sure. But he'll be making the best of his way home. They just need to see where they stand with the UK 2-year-olds, I suppose, as well. It's a bit of a fact-finding mission. And they run 2 in at Scriptwriter as well, who's not without a chance.
Yeah, that's the choice of Shamey Heffen, isn't it? Or the mount of Shamey Heffen, for sure. So will we see another Gayeth? The absolute top-notcher that won this for the boys in blue. Could Caribas be Gayeth? Who's the best 2-year-old in training? That's something else I want to answer. Don't forget, viewers out there, I know it's flat all the way here, but which jumps meeting are you looking forward to going back to most? Perhaps you'll be seeing Barry at Haydock on the 20th of November in the Betfair Chase. just a mere word of that. Saying that, you think who might turn up and stuff, don't you? It's exciting times. Okay, final word, G, to get going.
Plutard apparently is going.
Plutard? You've just mentioned the Gold Cup winner.
Chase, yeah.
Oh, I love. He's a wonderful horse, isn't he? Okay, off we
Here
go.
we go.
It is the Autumn Stakes. G, do you want to call this?
Yeah, why not? And they're off. And
Green team.
I mean, there's a reason why he sits in this studio.
I've
Right?
got no idea what's in front. Hold on, let me turn my...
Dirty
Green
old town
team,
and
green team.
Take it away, Dave.
Dirty old town.
Oh, my computer's died.
Oh, there we go. Dirty old town. George
hold
Bowie.
on.
His computer's died. That's the MO. Okay, so after a couple of furlongs, Frankie in front, guys. That means it's going to be an uneven pace. Best front running jockey in the world for a reason. He dictates it. United Nations keeping him warm. More towards the near side is Dubai Poet. Little bit keen. Caribus. Surprise,
Holding him up
surprise.
today.
He's sitting last, guys. What a surprise. Alongside
chilly at
Imperial
the back.
Fighter. What's the market done then, Barry, at halfway?
The favourite hasn't changed. He's 187, 194 now, but he's really riding them chilly. 6'8" Dubai Poet. 7.8 United Nations is probably the biggest one to come in. And the Handam horse is running well. Affiliate, although at 29.
Yeah, no, that's catching my eye very much. Absolutely. Al Kale, O'Brien, some unusual colours for him on the far side.
Going well, the
Imperial
first Dave,
Fighter
here
on
he
the far side.
comes.
Here comes Caribus then. What are we going to see, Posty?
Electricity, that's what we're going to see.
Oh, is this nearly all over? Oh man, he's gone low, isn't he? Look at the exchange price there.
1.1.
This is all over, guys. When's the 101 coming up? Dubai Poet, probably a very good horse, isn't he? Absolutely left trailing in his wake. Buick's got it right this time, guys. This was easy. This was a 2-year-old that you could have ridden, Graeme Rodway. Well done. You've got the forecast up. It looks like, will it be Dubai Poet in third? Just, I think. So the 1, 2, 3 there in the Autumn
G-Rod
Stakes.
couldn't have ridden it. He wouldn't have waited that long because you can't do that at Newmarket.
Oh, you could do anything you want. Oh, that was a swipe,
I
wasn't
think you could actually have gone 3 furlongs out and still won, wouldn't he?
Yeah. Barry, that went low, ridiculously low, a long way out.
Yeah, he was 10s on from around the 2 furlong marker. He was travelling so well. Obviously, they rode him out the back. They took their time on him. And, he's put the Royal Lodge, the ghost of the Royal Lodge, well and truly to bed. Just waiting to see what 5 from 8 for the Guineas now. So Native Trail is currently 4-1 favourite for the Guineas ahead of his run into Dewhurst, but that's been cut into 5-1 from 8-1 for the 2000 Guineas.
Wow, all right, 5s. We've definitely seen a classic horse there, guys, haven't we?
I mean, you should never take what you see on the TV for granted, but he looks like a massive big horse that's going
Someone's backing it.
That's
look.
going to improve. Oh, he's checking out
like,
his,
screw the show, I'm getting on.
He's checking out his Sky recordings for later. He's got Downton Abbey on or something. But he looks a big, physical, imposing horse, doesn't he? That you think's going to improve.
Beautiful animal.
That's going to improve for a winter. So you'd say he's got the scope to be a classic contender after a performance like that.
The market strongly suggested that the tactics were going to be what we all envisaged they were, and they knew, didn't they? You can imagine evening stables after Caribus came back in from that defeat in the Royal Lodge. Some choice conversations, I'd imagine.
Yeah. I don't know what to say about that. It was like what he should have done last time, he's done.
Do you get annoyed when you've put up the second there
Yes.
at the price? Yeah, I could
the-
see something coming
This
from
happened to me yesterday. I backed a horse called Illustrating, and it ran an absolute stormer.
What beat it?
Finished second, and Twilight Jet just was miles clear. And this is like, I kind of feel like I can claim a moral victory, because he's run really well, a good price. But then, of course,
A moral victory, not a financial one.
no.
Yeah, he's pocket talking, Barry. He's
quite a
he's
few
had a
of them.
couple of beers last night.
Been quite a
He's taken
few
bit
of
of
those
warming
down
up, and
the
he's,
years.
he's personally living. It's good to see that side of you. I told you that Twilight Jet would beat your illustrating yesterday.
You
Do remember?
did, yeah.
Just to, talk about trumpets being blown.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
He's a good sprinter in the
Yeah,
making.
you know where he finished in his previous run.
Middle part, wasn't it? No, middle
Yeah,
part.
but no, he finished third anyway behind Bayside.
Oh, here we go. Yes, okay, the Champagne Stakes over completely the wrong trip, yeah?
Yeah, but he finished third.
That's one of your strongest hopes of the day coming up, isn't it?
Yeah. My best bets are still to come, Dave, and they're all going to win.
Oh, love it. Fighting talk from the big man. All right, what do we make of Caribus? Does he win the 2,000 Guineas? Native Trail still to go, 2:55. Dewhurst time, Group 1 action coming your way on RP Live. Really feel like we're warming up. Get some great social interaction out there. We'll get it all up. Let's have the best 2-year-old then. We've asked a question. Who's going to answer it first up? Let's see, guys in the gallery. They're going to put it up for us. Best 2-year-old in the country. According to Tom Barras, his unpopular opinion, it's another Godolphin horse, Modern Games, who won at the track a couple of weeks ago, Breeders' Cup bound. What did he? Was that Royal Lodge Day that he won? But he beat the Farber horse, didn't he? Well, they were criticised for having 3 races in one.
Oh, yeah, silly race, yeah.
Silly race. Think Tom's talking a load of Barras, do you?
You said it, Dave.
Well, Tom, I think he might just win at the Breeders' Cup. And we know that they took Massar over there, didn't we? And, of course, Anthony Van Dyke ran over there. Great meeting coming up.
Will he be put away, this lad, now? Or do you reckon he could go to Doncaster?
Surely put him away, this one, Barry, don't they? Caribus, we'll not see him again this year, will we?
No, you won't see. He won't go to Doncaster. What's Doncaster? 2 weeks?
2 weeks, yeah. I agree.
Yeah, I think this was probably, it was somewhat surprising he was turning out 14 days later because they want that one next to the name, don't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so we have seen classic winners come out of it. And he's looking pretty happy there, William Buick, as he walks in as well, isn't he? So that son of Debar, he looks the part, doesn't he? Wow, I'm excited by him. Shall we go back up to York? It's time, isn't it? Because we've got another really exciting race and a very exciting horse for the future. Long time, Barry Orr, since we've seen Bay Bridge.
Yeah, what is it? Nearly 5 months. You know, he won that London Gold Cup. Now, it has to be said, the race has absolutely fallen to pieces, that London Gold Cup. But he was so impressive. Obviously, he's been held up as well, that we haven't seen him at all during the summer. But when you go through the run of the London Gold Cup, there's 10 runners in the race. Only 2 have gone on to win a race since, and they've only won 1 race each. You know, the second, King Frankel, hasn't managed to win a race and in 4 runnings. The third, River Alwyn, was beaten out of sight in that Golden Gate and Royal Ascot.
Yeah.
The Force Oz Legend has been beaten twice since, and they've gelded him. So it's fair to say it wasn't much of a race, the London Gold Cup, which is a bit disappointing because I remember covering with you at the time, Dave, and we thought, Jamie, this horse is really going on to bigger, better things, that it was looking like it was going to turn out to be a really decent race. But that hasn't been the case when you go back through the form book. I'm only going to lay him for small, though. We're going to take 25 quid out of him, please. And we're going to set our own prices here because he went out to 5-2 at one stage, but I think the money's going to come back for him. We're going to look to lay him at 3.0, which is 2-1. We're going to take 25 quid of the backer stake for a liability of 50 here. And if we get matched, I'm happy. I'm not going to try to chase it out a bigger price to get it matched, though. I'm going to just leave it at the 2-1 mark, and hopefully we'll get done at that. I think that's a probably fair representation of his price here, considering he's been off for so long.
Okay, very interesting indeed. Yeah, and there was a horse in here called Faisal, Barry, wasn't there? One of Holly Doyle's rides that shortened him up. This isn't proper stable money, is it? I don't think. The one came out, he had to tighten up then, didn't he?
Yeah, sure he did. Yeah, Faisal, I don't know what price he was. Was he about earlier on today? I think he was about a 6-1 chance, Faisal. So
he was on the drift then, was he? Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's probably after G-Rod napped him yesterday, was it? He looked like he might have.
That would have won this race.
And again, I don't mean to keep poking the bear, but that's going to frustrate. I knew you'd be frustrated by that. We spoke to Holly yesterday. You were over the moon. You were punching the air, weren't you, when she said it's my best ride of the day? And
I thought it was the best bet of the day.
Never run on soft ground, Faisal. I thought he might have enjoyed it. But anyway, Bay Bridge, where do we stand with him? That day in the London Gold Cup, we knew he was a group horse. He was supposed to do what a lot of horses do in that race, Imperial Aviator, Time Test, Roger Charleston's, go on to Royal Ascot. He pulled a muscle, didn't he? Typical Stout, he gives him a lot of time off. I bet you Ryan Moore would like to be at York if he wasn't at Newmarket to ride this chap. I think he might win. He blew the cock up in the London Gold Cup. Yes, the form hasn't really worked out. He needs soft ground, though. And when Faisal came out, I just thought to myself, this wins.
Yeah, it was a good time, but it was a strangely run race in that they went too fast. Well, they went very fast up front. The leaders completely had no chance of going that sort of gallop with the likes of Bay Bridge. Bay Bridge was given the best ride in the race, I thought, in a race where a lot of the horses who were beaten kind of fell away around him because they weren't capable of going that sort of pace, if you understand what I mean. They were sort of horses who aren't up to that standard, but they were trying to run at that sort of pace. Does that make sense?
It does.
So because they were trying to run at a pace that was far too fast for them, they all died. Well, not literally, obviously, but they all fell away very badly.
Yeah, you've got to be careful, haven't you, in all ways what you say.
Because they had gone too fast.
Yeah.
They weren't that good. Barry's already said they aren't that good in behind because none of them, bar Dahama Paso.
King Frankel just went a bit
and one
Frank
other.
called nutty, didn't he, afterwards? You know, he should have won at Epsom, but we remember that, watching that on the show, don't we, on Oaks Day. That was crazy when it was really high and running and all that sort of stuff. And then he just went a bit sour, I think, didn't he?
So the race fell apart, basically. 147 days off.
Yes, but he did have Stouty. Come on, he's won this race as well, Sir Michael Stout, in the past.
Yeah, worrying though, isn't it? Not ideal.
So all right,
7 days off.
So we were going to be with Faisal. You're taking on the Fav.
Yeah, I mean, I thought Faisal would definitely win. That was my view on the race, and now that he doesn't run, I don't have a strong view in the race. I've sort of thrown up Elias as a potential one who could put a fly in the ointment. I mean, I would be
my alternative actually to the Fav, Elias.
I would be with Barry in that I would now probably be looking to lay the Fav. I think that is probably the play, but Elias is a good price. Obviously, well, King Rafe, as Bruce would call him.
Loves him, doesn't he?
Yeah, absolutely loves him. Should like the ground.
Yeah, he didn't run too badly at Windsor 42 days ago. I was there that evening on their Twilight card. And
yeah, you rushed off, didn't you? Tiona won the race.
Tiona won the race, and then, of course, Solid Stone. That was the one.
Yeah, Solid Stone, yes.
Any mention of Solid Stone is a good mention on this show. There's horses in here that I'll tell you what, if you believe in cliff horses and jumping off them, I gave Shinjari another chance last time at Doncaster, and he did what Shinjari tends to do. He has a really good look at everything, head, and then he sort of lost it. He did win the John Smith's Cup. Was that last year under Stevie Donohoe, wasn't it, our friend? I can't have him. I mean, Adam Kirby is an interesting jockey booking. You wouldn't see him that many times at Charlton, would you? And there's a reason why the curbs is on Shinjari, isn't he? Make his mind up.
Yeah, he could definitely get a tune out of him, couldn't he? Yeah, I mean, like you say, it's an interesting angle for sure, because he's a horse that likes York, obviously.
It'll be head in hand for me, is what I'm trying to say, basically, if Shinjari wins.
He should have won, shouldn't he?
He should have won. I mean, Frankie somehow out-battled more, didn't he?
Well, he should have won at York.
Yeah.
The Ebor meeting.
Yeah, he was very unlucky there, wasn't he?
Very unlucky.
But I'll tell you what, G, I've seen him. Do you remember when he got beaten by Headman in the London Gold Cup, the aforementioned London Gold Cup?
Yeah, that's right, he did, yeah.
He should have won that day as well.
Yeah, so he's a should have horse, is he?
Yeah, I call formerly with William Haggis.
Does he need everything to drop right, Dave?
He needs everything to fall right.
Yeah, right, okay.
Thank you for allowing me to get that statement out there. All right,
the York race was obviously with Adam Kirby on, wasn't it?
Yeah, so back on he gets.
Yeah.
I don't know, but if Moore can't get a tune out of him. So there's a couple of other characters in here, aren't there? Good Birthday. I mean, I just cannot get him right. In his 3-year-old career, I nearly had him right. He was placed in a Cambridgeshire. And every time he's won, I've opposed him, and then I've gone for him again. Pythagoras, this is one that's really confounded the Figures boys. You like that?
Yeah.
The Figures boys.
Remember when Paul Keeley thought this was the next big miler in the making, didn't he? And it's just, I mean, it kills
Pythagoras, he loves Pythagoras, yeah. Who's the Figures boys? Do they have a name?
Pythagoras Figures.
Oh, sorry, that went over my head.
With a G-Rod.
Well, yeah, sorry.
He's in the
Tell
room.
you what,
He's here somewhere.
Those few pints, yeah.
I'll tell you what, even a jaded G-Rod was thought to be a better trader than you today, Posty. That tells you everything you need to know, doesn't it?
I wouldn't oppose him. I think you are quite right, yeah.
Yeah, quite right. What about Dark Jedi? Anyone? Tim Easterby's had a great season, and he obviously, of course, non-top success, but Art Power going to have a big say next week, isn't he? Mm. Yeah, we've not even really got time to talk about the big tips for next week as well. Is that Kitty's Light winning at Chepstow?
No, getting beat.
Get beat.
Finished second. Chico Vallis won it.
Yeah.
Short head.
On the bob, wasn't it? We're just watching a bit of jumping as well.
Yeah.
Kitty's Light is one of my stayers to follow. Put him up in the,
Did you?
in the big pull off.
The big jump off.
Big jump off, which is coming up.
Pull off.
I don't know what. Let's not go there.
Hold on a second.
Let's not go there. He's mischievous. He's not enjoying the fact he's had some belters today. Kitty's Light, I put up. That's just Christian Williams tweeted this morning. He's gone past the £1 million prize mark. Great. He's got some interesting horses waiting patiently now there this year, isn't he?
Well, Christian Williams has in his career, or
no, as a trainer.
Yeah.
Yeah, since his first one, he's just won over $1 million.
Oh, okay.
Must have been a horse yesterday, I assume, or unless he's winning somewhere this
Yes,
morning.
let's hope that he campaigns that horse right.
Right character.
Patiently. It's a Group 1 horse, isn't it? Grade 1 horse waiting patiently, but he's only won one Grade 1, but he's a very good horse.
I mean, you
His legs of glass, I would imagine. Very fragile.
You've been calling out the way that he was being campaigned.
Yeah,
for
I didn't
years,
like it at
haven't
all. Yeah, don't believe he's a 2-mile horse. I don't think he's a 2-miler at all.
It's amazing how many bees in one's bonnet one can get. And you do tend to have a humongous bonnet, don't you? Because you also said to me yesterday, just before we interviewed Holly Dawn, I said, thank God he got this out of the way before she came on. You really don't like at all. I mean, you don't really like Trushan, do you?
I love Trushan, but I'm a big believer in the sport needs to see its stars. Otherwise, it won't appeal to the wider audience.
You think he's like the Darren
They
Anderson,
need
don't
to
you,
be
of the
run.
horse racing world?
You know, I don't understand this, we've got to wrap them in cotton wool, can't run on anything other than soft ground approach. I mean, the Trushan has won on good ground, and his best performance equal on Racing Post ratings came on Tapeta. There must be a little bit of versatility about him there. Tapeta.
Tapeta?
Tapeta.
Tapeta, you mean?
Tapeta, yeah.
Even Tapeta, I've heard
At
it
Newcastle on the all-weather. So he, for me, he is a versatile horse regards to ground. I do not understand the need for him to be wrapped in cotton wool. He's a flat horse. He's run 3 times this year.
You think that's shambolic? And actually, Stradivarius was the one that was getting hit with a stick, wasn't
Put it this way. Say you sat there and you went, oh yes, what a race we've got today. Trushan, Stradivarius, I'll definitely switch on to watch that on ITV, right? And you turn on, and half an hour before the race, and Trushan's not running, Stradivarius is 1-4. You go, okay, I'll switch that off.
Yeah, all right.
I think we should get Kingy on to have a chat with G-Rod about this. I think it'd be interesting.
Another guy that we get on well with here in the studio, so we'll make sure he's not around.
Yeah.
We'll make sure Keel's on for that one, I think.
Yeah.
So next week, sun shining, or autumnal sunshine. Please don't tell me we're going to hear things about watering. Unbelievable. I mean, we've heard about the Arc being moved one way or the other, and it's usually Champions Day that gets in. The last time, we did say this on the show a couple of weeks ago, we had an Indian summer in Britain. It was 2016 and won the big race on that day on good ground. I was there. The Tin Man, all that. It was a brilliant card because the sun shone. Will he turn up?
On good ground?
Is he going to run next week, Trushan?
On good
5
ground.
or 6, a pair of 2, yes or no?
On good ground, he will not run.
So all of a sudden, he's long odds on with G not.
And then he turns up the week later in the Prix de Royal, whatever it's called. That hardly anyone will be watching. Nobody gives a two.
You'll be looking at them
that
jumping
race.
over the birch by then.
And
won't you?
everyone will be watching Cheltenham. And
We're off, by the way, for the Prix de
there we go.
Royal.
Thank goodness for that. We are off. The big bear was poked and he could have kept going on all afternoon. Let's see where Baybridge settles in the run then. In this superb handicap over a mile 2. It's classy stuff. He's pretty keen out the back, isn't he? On though goes the Hamdan horse. It is Alkame for Brian Meehan and Cockalorum. If you're leading Cockalorum, you're going a sound pace. Alias, he's got a big chance today. Lots of money for him this morning. For King Rafe Beckett, Shinjari got a beautiful run in 4th. There is King Jedi in the inside. Pythagoras a little bit keen, as is Bay Bridge. They're riding him confidently. Platinum Card out the back, along with Good Birthday and the one. It's Fishable, isn't it? The other Easterby runner right out the back. Barry on the far side. Looks like they're going a decent pace.
Yeah, they are. Ackman, the horse in front, just went into 12 at one stage, but steadied back out to 17. Now, your favourite steady at 292 was just a little bit keen earlier. Sinjari 4-9. There's no real massive moves in running at the moment, Dave.
Okay, no real moves so far because he has slightly steadied the pace post, hasn't he? Where they're going to come down the middle?
Well, yes, you would imagine so, but I mean, I wouldn't want to put my life on it.
I think they should go far side.
You do, G-Rod.
Well, let's find out. It will be, of course, up to Alkmaar, who is, of course...
Dane O'Neill.
Dane O'Neill, of course. That's why they're second in the previous race, wasn't he? So Dark Shadow's just lost a position. Fisherball being rode away in the midfield. Now we're getting racing a little bit, aren't we? Shinjari in pole position, I would wager. This group horse that we think, Bay Bridge, now started to inch closer under Kingscote. Let's see
at the
what
9-4 Bay Bridge.
Is that right?
You're going to get a steer on where is the quicker ground here, because Dane O'Neill's gone near side.
And that's down to Dane O'Neill, I think, isn't it? So, right down the far side, I still think Shinjari's in pole position. Adam Kirby gets out the stick. What will he produce? Platinum Card having a go. Here comes Bay Bridge. Good Birthday on the far side. I haven't backed him, so he's bound to win. Bay Bridge, definitely the best horse in this race. Will he get up? That's the question. Kingscote thinks he will. Platinum Card, Good Birthday. Shinjari backs out. Has he left it too late? No, he's got there. This is a right horse. £15 he went up for that London Gold Cup. That was back earlier in the season. Sir Michael Stout produces him probably 80% ready. What a horse he has on his hands for next year. Wow. Okay, Platinum Card, big run. Horse that's been on the go. Really consistent horse for Keith Dalglish. In second, they pulled clear Barry Orr.
Yeah, they certainly did. Your winner traded at a high of 4.3 Bay Bridge, considering the Betfair SP at 305, which is just a little over 2 to 1. 4.3 for 79 quid, 238 quid at 3 to 1. So he did drift significantly. Ackerman, the Good Birthday traded at a low of 4.7. He had an SP of 18, and then Ackerman traded at a low of 5.4. But yeah, the favourite, we got matched, unfortunately. We got matched at 3.0. He's a Betfair SP at 305, but he's probably done everything wrong there and still stayed on to win. So yeah, you could mark up that performance, I'd say.
Yeah, we'll be seeing him, Barry. Won't just stick with you, like John Porter Stakes at Newbury next year, those sort of races. See how good he is.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I'm sure they'll keep him in training. He's only a 3-year-old. He got that £4 allowance that the 3-year-olds getting this race. But yeah, he's carried his weight well there, and he looks a horse of some promise.
Yeah, I bet they were gutted not to get him to Royal Ascot, especially when the rain came there. He needs it. He's got that knee actually by New Bay, of course, isn't he? And he's a right old horse, and he's strong York form. One more to come from York. What did you make of that, G?
I thought the winner won well, and the rest of them probably aren't that well handicapped or that good. So,
96 platinum card in second. We know that's how good he is. Right up to that, isn't he?
Good Birthday's got far too close to him to be happy about that.
Talented horse on his day. He is a talented horse on his day. No, no Bangkok.
Don't really like Good
No
Birthday.
Bangkok for the boarding. So there was a face.
Yeah,
I don't. Old mood today, aren't you? Having a right old shocker.
Yeah, well,
Faisal would have won.
Faisal would have won, obviously, and it's just frustrating, isn't it?
All right, let's give you a word on Goldspur, if you don't mind. He was very impressive at Sandown when he won his maiden on very soft ground. As it happens, that form hasn't worked out great, says Charlie Appleby. Very happy with him today. We were concerned whether he was a soft ground specialist. He isn't. It will be looking towards Epsom for him next year. And there was, of course, some money for him, as Barry said. Half, didn't he, of course, on the sportsbook for the Derby next year. Great ride from James. All that sort of stuff. Okay. Oh, actually, hang on. It's possible, if it's bottomless, he might go to Songclu for that Group 1 again that you think nobody watches, G. Yeah. Okay. Boom, says Paul Bakewell. Fave backers happy. Me happy with platinum card. Let's hope you got the 1-2. Yeah, it's actually great horses today. Have we got the best of them coming up next in the Dewhurst, guys?
Yep, looks a great Dewhurst, don't it? We've got Native Trail, looks an outstanding juvenile, and we've got Bayside Buyer, who looks an equally outstanding juvenile.
You think he's going to beat him, don't you? But we'll get to that. Let's get the market up. There's the Betfair SP. You can see there on Bay Bridge where the value is, guys, on the exchange as ever. And if you went in running, I'm sure you went high as well. Let's get it up then. It's Dewhurst time, guys. We've got about 12, 15 minutes, knowing Newmarket maybe 20, of course, for the Dewhurst as well. Let's build up the social interaction here. What have you got on your cards? Are you someone out there with the Caribus Native Trail double? Is Caribus better than Native Trail? Let us know. Of course, Charlie Appleby was making noises, wasn't he? Pre-Caribus running in the Royal Lodge, that this might actually be the best 2-year-old he's got. That's been borne out now. Native Trail, all of a sudden, who knew, might have just a little bit to prove for someone in his side, his own stable.
A rate of progression, I think, like G was saying, but as in, there's a chance Native Trail might just be highly precocious, mightn't he? He might win the Dewhurst today. And
he's a monster of a horse to look at.
I mean, look, is that? But I don't know if does physical size or I mean, you know what I mean? It's not a hard and fast rule, is it? I don't know. I wouldn't have thought, as in you can be big and precocious.
You can
I mean, I'm big.
You can be big and sluggish, right? As well. Let's face it, you can be. All right, it is a hell of a race, Barry, isn't it? We've got a supplement in here as well. Straight answer for Jer Lyons, who's looked the business as well over 6. Where are you going? Oh, there we go. Don't play Native Trail. That's what he said.
We got him.
Just listening to Charlie Appleby there, just talking about Caribus. Yeah, so they're going to put him away till the spring.
Tell you what, that's a pair of headphones you had there, Barry, isn't it? That's like Mark Orosky style, isn't it? They're right. Look at that.
Just listening to the interview there with Charlie. That's all.
You got a
just
little
wanted
insight.
to make sure you were well informed, Dave. That's all.
Okay, what's he saying then, Barry? Give us the answer.
He's just saying to Caribus, that's him. He's finished for the season now. We'll put him away, see how he winters, look at a trial in the spring, and back there for the Guineas, it looks like.
Yeah, everything we were expecting then. A Native Trail then. Could it be the big treble for Godolphin? I mean, let's just have a quick word about this, guys, before we go to Barry for the trade. We know he's taking on Native Trail. We'll get to that in a second. Have we seen a changing of the guard this year? The big boys now Not Cornwall dominating the middle distance, etc. Even the 2-year-olds. It's been some effort, hasn't it, by the team? At Godolphin. Worldwide, I was watching Australian racing this morning. They're mopping it up down there. They won the Caulfield Guineas, all that sort of stuff. It's remarkable, isn't it?
Yeah, been amazing, hasn't it? I mean, they've got the best horses at the moment, without a doubt. At the moment,
I think we're living in a brilliant age to have both Aidan O'Brien and Charlie Appleby going up against each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, Barry, you think that definitely, don't you? I do.
Yeah, I think it's cyclical as well, and I think two more now that Galileo's gone. They haven't really got an heir apparent to him just yet. They've tried. They've several horses, obviously, that are doing well at stud, but they haven't just got a standout the way Dubawi, the way that Sheikh Mohammed has Dubawi, and maybe Frankel to a lesser extent. So. I think it's great for racing. I think it's good that they've come to the fore in the middle distance races, and it doesn't do it any harm whatsoever to competition.
Yeah, this guy's interesting, Barry, isn't he? Native Trail. You've had your laying boots on. One's gone in. You got Hativ beaten in the first. The second one, Caribus, of course, went and showed himself to be a classic horse. Native Trail is by Oasis Dream out of an Observatory mare. So we're talking about, speed. Oasis Dream, he's interesting, isn't he, for the breeding going forward? If he wins this, we're looking at Pinatubo style, aren't we?
Yeah, obviously a horse that they won this race with as well, Pinatubo. But for me, he hit a flat spot in the Curragh around 2 out, and he traded at 8.4 in running on the exchange at that stage. Now, he's won the race really, really well, but it's only in the last 200 yards that he's really began to motor away. I just wonder, is Newmarket going to suit him running out of that dip? So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to lay him, but I'm going to back him in running to green up, just on that I think he could potentially hit that flat spot again. When you look at his form as well, Dave, like that race in the Curragh, like Ebro Rivers let the form down last Sunday into Jean-Luc Lagarde, albeit he might have gone off too fast in front, who knows. But he's let the form down no matter what way you look at it. The fourth horse in the Curragh, Ultramarine, was beaten 6 1/4 lengths behind Native Trail in the National Stakes. He was 7 lengths behind Straight Answers in the race in Fairyhouse, albeit over 6 furlongs. And then when you go back again on Native Trail's form to the superlative, he beat Masekela short head. Masekela was very disappointing in the Royal Lodge when he was 9-4 favourite behind Royal Patronage. And the third, Dahab, who reopposes today, he was disappointing when he was 11-4 favourite behind Wings of War in the Mill Reef. So I'm not sure the form really stacks up. I know Point Lonsdale was in the race in the Curragh. I don't think he performed to his optimum. I think there might have been an excuse for him. So I'm going to lay Native Trail, but like I said, I'm going to try to be clever here and green up in running. So we're going to take 100 quid at the backer stake here to lose 86. And we're going to look to back him back at around the 3-1 mark, so 4.0. We're going to have 25 quid back on him at 4.0. So if we get matched, we'll green up and we'll have a profit either way. Just select keep bet function there, G-Rod, because if we didn't, that bet would be taken down as this race goes in play. But once you select the keep bet function pre-race, once the race goes in play, your bet stays in play as well. So laying Native Trail, but going to try to trade out in running.
Okay, there you go. That's how to play it, says Barry Orr. In the Group 1 Dewhurst then, we're around about 6 or 7 minutes away from that. Do you mind if I get in? St Mark's Basilica won this last year. I think this is a certainty, Native Trail. I think the one thing that I was slightly worried about, like Barry, was the dip. He's a monster of a horse, this. He's absolutely massive. When he won on the July course, he just got up on the line, didn't he? And what I've said it again on this show, the July course is one of the best for watching the pull-up afterwards, when the horses pull up, because they can just go for miles.
Yeah, he galloped it well.
He just was, he couldn't stop him. And I thought to myself, I remember speaking to Paul Keeley about that. He goes, he wants soft ground, Dave. I thought he wanted a mile. I took him on, Point Lonsdale, with this chap. He's been on my side. The highest rated horse of this, I mean, it's hard to think that St Mark's Basilica, given what he did as a 3-year-old, is £6 behind Too Darn Hot. I think he's going to become the highest RPR that we've seen for some time in this race. I just think he wins. Obviously, the fact that they're doing everything before them today as well helps. Yeah. Tactics-wise, I think he's very straightforward. He hits the line strong. The ground will be absolutely in his favour. Everything right for me. I think he's right. You are taking him on with Bayside Boy. Why?
It's mainly on price grounds, obviously, which most bets really should be based on. He's too short on form for me.
On his debut at Sandown, he thrashed Royal Patronage.
Yeah.
It was beaten Caribus.
Yeah.
whatever you say about Caribus that day. And of course, he's beaten Imperial Fighter, who was second there. Royal Patronage. We might be doing Royal Patronage down a little bit, of course.
Yeah, we could be. I mean, he looked very good at the Curragh when he beat Point Lonsdale. I thought going into that weekend that Point Lonsdale and Reach for the Moon were the best 2-year-olds that we'd seen. And they both got beat that weekend, Dave, of course, didn't they?
It was definitely the ground and the trip that beat Ebro River, by the way. I've heard that mentioned, what about Ebro River and things like that. And he was lapped, wasn't he, as Tom Segal said last night?
Oh, yeah, he was well beaten. But
he just put a line through that. That was not
Were
the Ebro
Aiden's in
River.
the best of form as well, that sort of time when Point Lonsdale got turned over?
Well, that was one of the talking points at the time, wasn't it? Was that he'd had a lot of short
But
prices.
this guy came down the outside that day, and he absolutely
I agree with you. As in,
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying he's not going to win, by no means. I think we all agree that he's by far the most likely winner of the race. But I don't have him £10 clear of Bayside Boy. I mean, Bayside Boy beat Reach for the Moon, who, well, from what Frankie Dettori seemed to be saying this morning on RTV, was their number one hope for this race and would be running in this race if he was there, if he could be there. But he's not right at the moment, so they're running Dabab instead. Now, Reach for the Moon, before that race at Doncaster, I was hailing him as next season's Derby winner. I thought he was that good. And he, of course, won that race at Sandown that John Gosden always wins with a good
Solario.
horse. Solario. And he
James
won.
Millman really fancied Bayside Boy that day. He was sitting in your seat, wasn't he? And we watched that Champagne. Really fancied
He
it.
won well that day with Reach for the Moon. I just think in that Champagne Steps, it's a 7-furlong race. I just think that Reach for the Moon got done by a faster horse on the day, like a real proper miling type, like
Twilight
Bayside
Jet,
Boy.
who we know is the Cornwallis winner over 5 years, he just got him at it, didn't he, basically? He made him race a bit quicker.
He was miles beaten back in third and he hacked up yesterday. And Bayside Boy, what I liked about that performance was he showed a sharp turn of foot, to come and get Reach for the Moon and see him off. Now, of course, on the line through Point Lonsdale, Point Lonsdale and Reach for the Moon are similar sort of horses. Native Trail beat Point Lonsdale by further than Bayside Boy beat Reach for the Moon. But I think that Bayside Boy did it comfortably enough. And on the line through Masekela when they ran against each other in their previous starts. I mean, Masekela beat this horse ahead, Bayside Boy, and Native Trail beat Masekela Shorthead. So there's very little between Native Trail and Bayside Boy purely on those lines of form. Yet on the market, there's about 9 or 10 points, and on the Racing Post ratings, there's £10. So for me, it's Bayside Boy.
Okay, all right. Before we go back, we've not even seen anyone go for straight answer yet. Could it be Charlie Post?
no, I've chopped up Gloon Thorn, or however you pronounce it, each way.
This is the one that Barry likes as well, under Ryan Moore. Could this do a tenebrism then?
That was the sort of angle. I mean, look, the form of the neck defeat of Castle Star is none too shabby.
Yes, absolutely.
And we haven't seen him for an awfully long time. But I don't know, I'd just be surprised if Aiden was bringing him over just to give him more experience.
They have to have a runner in the Dewhurst. They do really, don't they?
I think, like Barry says, they like to put the feelers out, see what the British juveniles are like.
Yeah, of course, Aiden with the best record of all the trainers involved today. 5 winners in the last 10 years.
On form, he could just be all right this year. He could be above average horse, couldn't he?
Okay,
Could
all right.
be, yeah.
Gloon Thorn, is that how we pronounce it, Barry? And you like him?
Yeah, that's spot on. Yeah. Ron gives him a decent shout in his blog as well. Obviously, he was put away, but Castle Star form is working out really, really well. And he's a horse, obviously, that the connections who have him, it's Magner's mother.
Yes.
Runs in her colours, Mrs. Evie Stockwell. And the Westenbergs are in it as well, obviously. But they always keep a good one for Magner's mother. You can bet your bottom dollar on that. Now, obviously, he's been held up in his work, and we haven't seen him since he won in the Curragh. But I'd say he's a really, really nice horse, and they're going to find out a lot more about him here today.
It's the Shively Park winner a couple of years ago, isn't it? Fairy, what was her name? She was really tough.
Yeah, Fairyland.
Fairyland, thank you, G. Back in the room, finally, after a couple of hours. Your best bets are coming as well. You're warming up, aren't you?
I am. What do we make of the Jur? Because he don't train winners in England, does he?
Oh, that is harsh, Barry. Or Jerlines does not train winners anymore in England.
He hates bringing horses to England. The only way he brings a horse to England is when the owners strong-arm him into it. And obviously, Juddmonte want to have a runner in this. Stepping up to 7 furlongs, won very, very well in Fairyhouse, albeit only a listed race, but went out, kind of nearly made all that day as well. They knew he'd get every yard of the 6 and pushing on, he wants 7. And they made a lot of use of him. Colin Keane did that day. he looks a really, really nice prospect. I'm not sure about him. I just think he's in against proper Group 1 horses here. At the price, I thought he was just maybe a little bit short.
Yeah, he's certainly drifting out a little bit. Of course, he's bred to stay. All right, let's get some socials up then as they embark into the stalls at Newmarket for the biggie. Chris Hall, good to have you, my man, says Clune Thorn. And Dabab, each way for me in the Dewhurst. Yeah, too short in the middle reef for Dabab, wasn't it? This is his trip. Is he good enough? Tom Segal thinks so.
Yeah, he was an eye catcher, wasn't he, behind the Native Trail and the Massacala at Newmarket. He travelled well through that. But
he hasn't quite hit the heights yet for Team Gosden, has he? Come on, Yvonne Rovitt comes back on and says, may we see the real Berkshire Shadow today? Just saying. Yeah, okay, it seems to have gone a bit quiet on the commentary winner. Okay, that's what we've got time for. Because they are in the stalls, 2:55. Good luck in the Dewhurst. Will we see a Caribus-type performance from Native Trail, another star, or will it be another ding-dong close finish? Let's see. But straight answer, Colin Keane, quick to explore this near side. And the unbeaten Jubmonte horse just about leads from Dabari legend, Hugo Palmer. Gomez Go there. Native Trail got a lovely little trail, Posty.
Yeah, he's got the right slot there. A couple of horses running Keane, Jabari Legend and Gloon Thorn as well. But yeah, I mean, it looks like an okay gallop as Colin Keane leads them down to the halfway stage.
He's going to be careful not to get a check here. They're coming stand side, G.
Yeah, coming stand side, really interesting. Seem to be going a good pace. Is that the Palmer horse has taken over now, Dave?
Yeah, it is. And Keane indeed. I'd see him getting home. Bayside Boy out the back, along with Berkshire Shadow and Dabab. No excuses for him today. Barry Orr, around about 3 furlongs.
Native Trail's coming under.
Yeah, favourites out to 7-4 there for a couple of strides. Into odds on again. 5.9 straight answers. It's all to play for here.
He's got the rail all of a sudden. Native Trail, it rhymes. A straight answer looking cooked, and he Gluthon. No run whatsoever. Now he switches Native Trail. I'll tell you what, this is just a case of him and Bayside Boy, isn't it? But on the rail, it's the Barwi legend. Really disappointing in the Acomb. Native Trail, will he go out and get him? This is what we wanted to see. The steam train that is Native Trail. Oh, he's different class. Didn't really like the track. Look at him stride out there. Proper animal. He beats a great run there from Dabari legend. Did he get the Golden Highway? And Bayside Boy, the Champagne Stakes winner, makes it look hot in third. Barry Orr, he went big in running.
Yeah, he hit that flat spot we spoke about in the Curragh, Dave. He's done it again here today. 3.95, so just nearly 3-1. He traded 642 quid at that. We got matched as well. He's answered every question there, but that flat spot and maybe just the dip nearly caught him out. Yeah. He's 7-2 from 4 for the 2,000 guineas. So obviously Godolphin a very strong hand now over the winter for the 2,000 guineas.
Absolutely fantastic. Thank you for that, Barry Order. There you go. If you want to get on the sports, but the debate will rage through the winter. Who's the best? Is it the Autumn Stakes winner or the Group 1 Dewhurst winner, Posty? That's some animal, isn't it?
He's a very, very good 2-year-old, isn't he? I mean, you're just reading Charlie Appleby's quotes about the fact that he felt he's been a man amongst boys this year. So it is going to be interesting to see if he trains on, isn't it? You know, I mean, for every Frankel, there are horses that don't go forward and become classic winning 3-year-olds. But right now, he's the one they've all got to beat, isn't he? I mean, a perfect campaign, a beautiful looking horse with, by Oasis Stream. It's going to be fascinating to see how he progresses over the winter and into the spring.
Yeah, Adir, Hurricane Lane, 2 top 4-year-old middle distance horses. They've now got the 2 3-year-old milers. Caribus might go up a little bit. This guy, you're looking at the mile. He's got lovely action, G, hasn't he? Lovely attitude because he looked in trouble.
Yeah, great, wasn't it? Great to see him win. Great to see him win the way that he won because I thought that he was in trouble. 2.5, 3.
You were screaming it.
Oh, I thought he was in massive trouble because he looked to me like he was coming under it and he weren't going to find. And then he really picked up well going into the dip and coming out of it and going away at the finish. That was impressive. Very good from James Doyle on the second. I think he's overperformed because he got that row.
I think so, probably too. They did think he was going to win the Acomb Stakes, won by royal patronage, of course. So there's that line, isn't there?
I wonder if Buick was a bit irritated with James Doyle. It looked like they were half chatting to turning up. Buick looked like he was going to get the rail, didn't he? And then all of a sudden, if you watch James Doyle's one off it, and he makes sure he gets over and gets on that rail.
Of course, the 2 boys in blue, of course, different silks there. Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? The jockey in the room saying there was probably a little bit of shouting going on.
Like I say, when you see the head on,
You're Buick, what are you saying at this point, 2 furlongs out? What would you be saying?
You're probably giving James Doyle a roar, aren't you? Saying, look, I'm there. Don't leave it. But James Doyle, look, he's got every right to get over. William Buick wasn't in. He switched over and got the most favourable part of the track. But the fact that, William Buick's been able to switch round and still pick up and go by him readily is impressive, isn't it? I mean, you have to say, again, the Hugo Palmer horse has to be rated up because he ran pretty keen.
Yeah, exactly that. So it's a tricky one, that, isn't it? Because you downgrade him because of the rail, but he was very keen. Do you think some horses haven't performed? It's hard to say they haven't, because Berkshire Shadow's come right from the back.
No,
so you've got the Champagne Stakes winner in third. You've got the Coventry winner in fourth. This is sizzling, isn't it?
I think it's strong form. I think Bayside Boy's run his race in third. He's ran very well.
Disappointing straight answer, wasn't he?
Yeah, straight answer again. Another Lions one that disappoints in Britain. But I mean, Bayside Boy ran well, Dave. He just wasn't up to the same level as Native Trail, which was always a possibility.
Do you think it counted against him being dropped out?
I don't think he was done any favours when Native Trail pulled out and then David Egan got squeezed up, had to come round him a little bit, but I don't really think it cost him anything.
Yeah, I want to watch him going back into the dip as well, Bayside Boy. He was almost upsized Native Trail, wasn't he? And I thought, right, here we go. This will, because he's got to turn a foot, we know that, and we know he stays. So, I don't know. Was it the dip maybe that caught him out slightly? Because he just hits a bit of a flat spot. We're watching it 2 furlongs out. This is where we think that James Doyle showed the rail to William Buick and then said, no. Yeah, and you've got to love the way that he was pulled out and he's done it. I'll just keep looking at this winner thinking, what have they got here?
Yeah, he looks really good, doesn't he, Dave?
Yeah, absolutely different gravy. And it's just good to see the right horse winning. And it's getting quicker all the time at Newmarket as well. 3.5 seconds slow pretty much. The first race, that was the Zetland. 2.5 was the Autumn Stakes. That was 1.52 sec slow. And there is juice in the ground at Newmarket. And William Buick applauds the crowd as he comes in. Good to see that. He knows what he's set on there. Question.
Go on.
This is what I love about sitting in this seat. For all of us here, and for you out there. Buick, last weekend in April, it is, 2,000 guineas, 2022. Who do you sit on? Never mind how they've wintered, right now, good ground, who do you sit on?
Native Trail right now.
G?
Yeah, no way you're getting off that. No way.
Barry, will he ride Caribus, or is he going to stick with the trail?
Jesus, it's a hard call, isn't it? Obviously, it depends how they all winter. At this stage, you'd probably go Native Trail Group 1 winner.
Yeah.
But it all depends how they winter and how they grow into themselves, I suppose.
And there is the Betfair SP.
Who are you
Even
gonna,
money.
Who are you
about
going
Native Trail? How?
Who are you going to ride?
I'd be on Native.
Yeah.
I mean, he'd be suited more to me anyway, let's face it.
Yeah.
He's a bull of a horse.
Yeah,
isn't he?
yeah. Just going back to what Barry said, though, about Jabawi, and I know this is an Oasis dream, but it's going to be an interesting couple of years for Coolmore. They could do a St Mark's Basilica.
Or he had to retire, didn't he?
And the other one is Wootton Bassett has covered his first year of Coolmore.
Well, Barry was the first one to flag this.
So this is going to be an interesting period, Barry, isn't it? You know, if Wootton Bassett improves again as a sire for having these blue blood mares,
The better mares, yeah.
It's going
That's
to
what
be
they're gambling on.
Yeah, it's going to be important for Coolmore.
That's the bet.
It's
That's the
important.
punt they're having.
Yeah.
It's important.
So Mark's Basilica with the Siuni.
Yeah.
You know, we spoke to Aidan about this, didn't we? You know, he sort of had to retire.
Yeah.
If he'd
100%.
he had to
They're
retire.
commercial. They're a
Yeah.
commercial organisation, and they had to have a flagship from this year from the classic crop, and he's it. You know, he's done nothing wrong, and they weren't giving him a chance to do anything wrong either after Leopard saying that was it away to the sheds.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, you're sitting there going, I know this will be riding you slightly, won't it? You think you should have ridden on, just come on, just race your horses. But from a commercial point of view, they were missing that cult, weren't they? The fillies, Aidan O'Brien's, of course, we had Love, we've had Snowball, and I don't know.
Norman Williamson.
Boys
He's
need
an
to-
outcross because he's by Siuni, so
Yeah.
he's perfect for them at the moment. They can breed into the Galileo mares. As they
That's
can
it.
Wootton Bassett as well, which
Yeah.
is a big deal for them. So, like Charlie says, his first full crop of blue-blooded mares this year. Be interesting to see how he gets on.
5 to 6 on track, but you could back Native Trail at evens on the exchange. Happy days.
I don't really mind, Ballydoyle doing whatever they want, really, because they're not really among these band of people that are always complaining about prize money, are they? They don't have to worry. It's a commercial breeding operation, and they make their money on that side of the thing. So you never hear a Ballydoyle people complaining about prize money. What gets my goat is when you get several people complaining about prize money, and then they don't want to run their horses everywhere.
You don't think they would? These are not people to quibble about the 128,000 on offer at the Cesarewitch that's coming up, our final race at 3:30.
How much is it?
128,850 to the winner. That's more like it, isn't it?
Yeah.
That is more like it. You know, I was watching the racing down under this morning. The prize money there, it's unbelievable.
But there's been a lot of talk recently. I mean, just to bang the drum about this, but there's been a lot of talk recently about how can we get more people into the sport? How can we make the sport more attractive? For me, it's very, very simple. You need to see the best horses take on the best horses more often. That's it. It is simple. Then more people will watch.
Yeah. Okay. Well, listen. Thank goodness for you, the jump season's coming up.
Yeah, but we don't get that during the jump season.
We're
only get
hoping
that
that's going to change now, aren't we? We think there's a bit of a changing narrative. We could go on about posting that. There's no morality of, for one thing. So they might become a bit more open, these races. We might see horses a bit more. And let's face it, the Brits, with the jumps, winter game coming up, have got to change the game slightly. That's got to happen. We're going to see it, aren't we? And
I don't know. I don't know if we will.
Listen, all right. Look, I mean, I'm trying to work with him this afternoon. It's been very difficult, hasn't it? He's been banging his own
This is the great thing about Paul Nicholls, is that he runs his horses all the time. Nicholls runs his horses. You see them. There are other trainers who don't.
Did he run Brave Man's Game too much last year, do you think? Or was it? Or maybe that's...
He goes to Newton Abbott tomorrow.
I don't know about that.
He does, doesn't he? Of course he does. Yeah, Barry, you went down. You had the pleasure of going down to Ditchy, didn't you, with your ambassador, Kev Blake. What did he give away?
Yeah, Jamie, the horse that won the first in Chepstow today, Magistrato, he was very, very keen on him as a young horse to look forward to. And not so much as a juvenile hurler, but more, as with all of Paul Nicholls' horses, they're not bought for juvenile hurls. They're bought for young chasing stock, and kind of he's very patient in terms of the younger horses and gives them plenty of time. He's got a few store horses there that were with Will Buick that will go in bumpers this year that he was looking forward to as well. And obviously the established stars, the likes of Frodon, who seems to be the most popular horse in training. Looking forward to him coming back. Yeah. Looks like you'll have Next Destination potentially going for the Betfair Chase.
Love him.
Clan de Zobo will give that a massive swerve this year. He'll go straight to the King George.
Is he going to go for the Betfair Chase Next Destination?
Yeah. Yeah,
What?
that was the chat. Yeah.
I need to rewrite my piece in the... Thank God Barry Orr's it. I thought he'd go for Ladbrokes Trophy and then go on to the National, you know.
He'd be entered in both, but Betfair Chase is his primary target, early season target at this stage. That's if they keep him 100% sound.
Talk amongst yourselves. I've got a bit of time to do. We go to print, I think, next week as well. I really need to go back and visit that. There you go. Breaking. That's absolutely right. And he's not even mentioned the best horse in the stable, Monmiral, of course. Newton Abbott tomorrow for Brave Man's Game.
The Betfair fighting fifth hurl, Monmiral, in December.
A fighting fifth, because I was so hoping he wasn't just going to turn up on one of these intermediate hurdles. You know, you don't know what to do. But Monmiral, who's excited about these? I'll tell you, he's the one. He's the one that's going to get the Irish going, isn't he?
You'd think so.
Absolute Rolls Royce.
Yeah, tomorrow, Brave Man's Game, Fusel Raffles, the big breakaway, Newton Abbott.
How did that happen? How did that happen? Not doing anything down on the Newton Abbott, been many a time, but it's a bit surprising. It doesn't really scream Cheltenham in March, does it?
No, it doesn't. Not for 1 second, no.
Wow. All right. You heard it here. All right. Changing tack. We've got 2 more races on the flat coming your way, and we've got to get up to York because we've got what some people will call a proper head scratcher here. 6 furlongs, Barry Orr, round about 9 to 1 the field on the exchange.
Yeah, actually 13 to do the field on the exchange, Dave. Laugh a minute, your favourite at 7.6, 10 Pop Master, 12.5 Mr. Wagoo, 13.5 Magical Spirit, 13.5 Comanche Falls. I like the favourite here for Ado McGuinness and Ronan Whelan. They won the Group 1 Prix de l'Abbé with a case of you last Sunday in Paris-Longchamp. And this horse has been knocking on the door in all the Premier handicaps in Ireland recently. He was 4th last day out in the Joe McGrath on the 26th of September. Had absolutely zero luck in running. Time before that in the Bow Lad, he was 6th. Again, he didn't have much luck in running. He's a horse that if he puts it all together here today off bottom weight, he'll go really, really close. So I'm going to back him in the winning place market, please, G-Rod. We're going to back him. Happy to be a price taker here at 7.6. We'll have 25 quid on at 7.6 in the win market. And on the Betfair Exchange, there's 7 places. There's a standard each way, or there's a standard place terms. There's 5, 6, or 7 places on the exchange. We're going to look at the 7th place market. He's currently trading. Now, we're not going to look there. We'll go to the 5 places. The 7th place market, he's 1.53. I wouldn't be betting 2s on him. In the 5 places, he's currently about a 5 to 4 chance. We look to back him at maybe 6 to 4. So we'll make our price here 2.50, and we look to have 25 quid on at 6 to 4 in the 5 places.
Love it, Barry. Love it. Yeah, he was a good thing beating Barry last time, wasn't he? Very much so.
Yeah, he got stopped everywhere he went to go, which can often happen in the Curragh on that sprint track sometimes when they sharpen it up and the width of the track. And when there's so many runners in the Premier handicaps, you can get stuck for space. And he was the victim of that for sure last day out.
Yeah, will he get it at York? That's the big hope, isn't it? And as Barry says, Route 1 winning stable now. McGuinness. Everything that Barry said there, I don't need to say anymore. I just think he probably just about wins this. But we have got some characters in here, Graeme Rodway. Which one are you plumping for?
Again, this is not one of my strongest fancies, but Copper Knight was the horse that I backed last time at Haydock, and he got caught right on the line, didn't he, by old Mondamedge.
Oh, yes.
Mondamedge is a infuriating horse.
But very talented.
Who I was convinced had turned a corner when he won at Haydock 3 starts ago.
We put him up in the Portland, didn't we?
Put him up in the Portland.
He said,
and he didn't fancy that. No. And then he proved that he kind of maybe has turned a corner by then coming back to win at Haydock again.
The Copper loves York, doesn't he?
But the one thing about the Copper is he's not an infuriating horse. You know, he just blasts out in front at York and he'll be hard to catch. Now, the problem is he's obviously weighted right up to his best at the moment.
Trip.
Will he stay,
Yeah.
Anna McCain on suggesting that, I mean, she's done really well, Anna McCain, for that 5, hasn't she? She's been catching a lot of people's eye.
What do you think about the draw here, Dave?
Tricky, isn't it? Because we're spread all the way across. You're looking for where the pace is, really. I mean, Laugh a Minute's in 2. Popmaster, of course. Didn't see him to best effect at air, did we? Holly Doyle on. They're keeping the faith of this chap. Anything that Ed Walker seems to run in sprint handicaps finds its progression. He's in 1 as well. Comanche Falls, a horse that might, again, didn't see him to his best effect at air either. I'd be looking away from them. But Mr. Wagyu is in 6. He's going to get on with it. Slice them wide open, he'll try. And Magical Spirit in stall 15 for Kevin Ryan, who's got, again, very good course form. That's where you're looking. So I reckon they just come down the middle, won't they, basically? And you need a bit of luck. Is anyone like Gulliver here?
Yeah.
I didn't know that, and I was curious because I wondered, looking at this, before I looked at Laugh a Minute's last run, whether this might be Gulliver's day. He'd be my next best.
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree about everything Barry says about the favourite. But yeah, Gulliver for me, 2-time winner of this race, has ran some decent races, has gone well for Adam Kirby.
Is he a 2-time winner of this race?
Yeah.
You caught me out there. Is that right?
Last 2 years, yeah.
Last 2 years.
Oh, so he's on a hat trick.
Yeah. Adam Kirby got a great tune out of him in the Stewards Cup.
I tell you, there's a reason why you're here, Posty. You're flexing your muscles today, very much so. You're making the man next to you look.
And he likes slow ground as well, doesn't he? He appreciates slow ground and likes you and loves you. I think York's the only place he's actually ever won, maybe.
Let's go into that, but let's get some social up on the screen. Laugh a Minute, then the spotlight vote you consider. George Murray, okay, where are we going with this, George? G-Rod must be all over Popmaster if he thinks Marconda's walked the track after the earlier 6 furlongs. Nice, George. Good to see you're watching. Holly up, drawn in 1. This is a 6-furlong race. George is talking some sense there.
Yeah, he might well have tipped Holly off, mightn't he? We'll see. Just drawn in still 1. I didn't think coming right across the stand side did Dane O'Neill any huge favours last time.
Again, it's a bit surprising, wasn't it?
Now, Baybridge did sort of challenge towards the stand side. But
why don't they like that far
rail
rail at York? What is it? They've started doing it a bit more this year, haven't they? But
they're just lemmings, aren't they? Just follow each other, don't they?
Well, you said it. The G says that jockeys are just lemmings. He's been all year. The bear has been poked about where they're going in the Ascot, all that sort of stuff. Just follow each other basically.
Jump racing though. There's a bit more variety in jump racing.
Well, jump racing is more fun overall anyway, isn't it?
There you go. Again, we're getting it all out of the bear today. Neil Callan comes back, of course. He's riding Magical Spirit here, who I think will try and make it. He's done well, hasn't he? A couple of big price winners.
Won a big sales race, didn't he?
He did on the unpronounceable Botty horse last week. He tore them apart, didn't he? Neil Callan, good.
Yeah, well, he's good, isn't he? He's always been good. And,
lemming or not?
Well, they're all lemmings, apart from like Ryan Moore probably isn't. He actually bothers to do his own work, doesn't he? And maybe one or
Kirby,
two others, a
he
few
wouldn't
others.
Be a lemming, would he?
No, but generally speaking, most of the others just follow where everyone else goes.
Frankie, couldn't call him a lemming.
No, Frankie, no. There are exceptions, of course, as there are exceptions to almost every rule.
3 non-lemmings. What's the opposite to a lemming? All right, who are you jumping with here then? Popmaster coming in for support all the time, Barry. Is the Holly factor?
Yeah, very much so, Dave. Popmaster 9.6 from 11. Mr. Wagoo's into 11 as well. 8.4 Laugh a Minute. That's a little bit friendless in the market. Gulliver 8 to 17 as well. Magical Spirit into 12.0, but quite a wide open market.
What's this white stuff they're wearing on the side of their heads? These horses, they've all got white dots on the side of their heads. Are they? Is that their number? Is it like America? Have the York gone the American route?
Touch.
Yeah, look, they've all got their numbers plastered on their head.
Is that a good idea?
I just noticed it in the last race that all the horses seem to be running along with white dots on their head, and I was like,
The
"Oh, this
jockeys
is a
need
bit weird."
reminding of what number they are because no one else can really see it. I had to
Lemming
swim
often
more than
would.
normal there. But yeah, absolutely. Lemmings need to know what number to follow, don't they?
What did you used to do for a living, Charlie?
I was a lemming, Barry.
He's won around Chester. Let's not forget that. He's won a Welsh national. He's won around
This
Chester.
is a good question, actually. Do you actually know which draw you're meant to go in, or do they tell you when you get down there?
Well, again, as someone, I mean, during my illustrious flat career that constituted 2 seasons, I'd always made sure I didn't know what stall I was going into, but they do call it out at the start.
Right.
In fact, when I rode in that race at Doncaster the other week, yeah.
Oh man, we've not even touched on that, have we? We've not even touched on the horse that won next time.
Yeah, exactly.
Cover him, or did he win?
Yeah, I give him yeah, exactly, yeah.
You were third in the Legends race, of course. That was some good spin, wasn't it?
Great fun, yeah.
You looked like you had it won. I sent you a WhatsApp afterwards, didn't I? Go and go now then. I bet you thought you'd won it at one point.
I did for a minute, yeah.
Who was it? Your old pal, wasn't it? Mark Grant didn't do you any favours, did he?
Was it Granty? No, I think it was
Granty,
I think it was Sammy Joe Bell cut me off a bit, yeah.
Blimey, yeah.
Then the Angry Ant won. He got 350 quid fine. Yeah.
We do it again next year.
If I'm still light enough, I said to Lindsay, we'll speak in the middle of the
Is it
summer.
Andrew Thornton that sorts it out now then, is it?
Sorry, Andrew Thornton.
Yeah, we'll try and get Lindsay.
Okay.
You know what's worth probably chatting about, Dave, as well? William Buick's ridden a treble today. And obviously, what happens with Oisin Murphy now? Is he facing any sort of suspension before the end of the season?
The issue
failing
is
the second.
suspensions come in 2 weeks after the offence, so it's not going to have a factor on the championship, because the championship ends next weekend, doesn't it?
So that is really
Okay.
interesting, though,
Yeah.
Barry. What's Oisin done today? He's not had one yet, has he? I don't think.
No. No, Buick's rode 3 and Doyle rode the other one.
So okay. So the deficit is being eaten into. They were not. There was bookmakers taking the prices down a month ago, weren't they?
Yeah, he's got it though, hasn't he? Oisin, he'll do it, won't he?
You're going to see a
from here,
lot
you
of
would have
Will
thought.
Buick in the next week, I would imagine. Good luck, William, out there as well. It's going to be a good tussle. Yeah, interesting, Barry. And who else had that multiple today, and who had the treble, who had the double? Let us know. One more race to go after this penultimate sprint at York. Sprint to the Cesarewitch. We could probably talk about anything you want during the Cesarewitch, couldn't we? I mean, it's going to go on and on and on.
I think G-Rod wants to commentate on that.
He's having it.
If his computer's still working okay, that is.
Yeah, a low blow from Dublin there.
My phone's working, so I'll get the runners up on that one.
I'll tell you what.
I know you're all desperate for a G-Rod commentary.
When you were stumbling home last night, when they're going to make me commentate on the Cesarewitch, he probably said, absolutely sharp enough, aren't you? Who wants to see G do that?
I'll have you know that during the Cambridgeshire, I called Bedouin's story before you did.
Well, look, all right, it's probably out there if anyone wants to review that. You might well have done. I thought I had the
I
winner,
don't think you
didn't
called the winner at all, did you?
I? What, Bedouin story?
I mean, you had no idea what was in
I've called
front.
about 500 races this year. You can find the one where I've not called the winner. Unbelievable scenes. All right, then. A couple more going in then. Just Frank, he's another pace angle, isn't he? Going in for Les Ayres. He's had a good season. Just Frank, of course, won that race up at Thirsk and stretched out a little bit. Punchball Flyer, he could be a pace angle on the far side as well. Follow the pace. Copper Knight then for G.
Verhoeven, worth the mention.
Verhoeven.
For the Grassics here in Ireland, they send him over. He's worth the mention. He's run well in all the Premier handicaps here as well, the sprint handicaps.
It's good to see the Irish Raiders going over, isn't it? Very much so indeed. All right then, good luck. Last race at York on the Knaves Mile, 6 furlongs. Where will the pace be? Will it be high, low, or somewhere in between? Something in stall 15 playing up there. That's Magical Spirit. Neil Callan, the aforementioned, it's likely leader. So we've got a little bit of a hold up here, guys. More time for you to get your social interactions in. Now they're off. Magical Spirit's had an absolute shocker. Missed the get. It is a front runner, no chance whatsoever. Watch it come through with a wet sail. And the most important thing here to mention, G, they are finally, Tom Marquand has mentioned it to Holly, far side.
Yeah, middle to far side, isn't it? The main group anyway. There is one coming up the near side. Is that Just Frank? He's got a fast horse, isn't he?
He only got one way of running,
Copper Knight is right there. Will he see it out? I hope so.
Let's look for some of the big players. Where's Gulliver, Posty?
Slotted right in, but more stand side. Cheap pieces on Adam Kirby. I'd say he's only got 3 or 4 behind at the moment.
Mondamedge being one of them. A massive price, Mondamedge today. Gulliver then warning up on the far side. Okay, where's Laugh a Minute? He's cruising, Barry. Laugh a Minute, 2 furlongs out.
Yeah, he's there. He's taking his time, Ronan wheeling, and he's into 4.0 on the exchange in running.
Go on the minute. This is it. He's got
Here
the
he
gap.
goes.
It's all far side at the moment. Let's look at volatile analyst for Keith Dalglish. Is he going to come up short again, Keith? Air Raid coming back. Laugh a minute. Here, I'll tell you what. This is in front. This is one. It's gone really, really low. Laugh a minute. Found trouble again. Would you believe it? Even on the nave smile. Volatile analyst comes across. It's going to be a couple of days for the jockey, but that won't worry him. It was enough to keep the race. And he ended up right on the far rail. Who found that? Callum Rodriguez. Was he a bit naughty there, Callum?
He did what he
Yeah,
needed
there'll be
to
an
do.
inquiry. There's definitely be an inquiry, and the runner-up's a fast finish in second.
Yeah. And I tell you what, he's within a length as well, isn't he? At the line.
He's only beat half a length, yeah.
Oh.
This is all now going down to how far do you need to be beaten for it to... Do you know what I mean?
Has that cost it the race? Laugh a minute.
Yeah, you'd have to say it has, wouldn't you? Or you see, but I suppose the question the stewards have to answer is it beyond all reasonable doubt, if that makes sense?
It was an aggressive move, Barry, wasn't it?
Yeah, very aggressive move, and I think it's one he's going to pay the ultimate price for. I can see this horse getting thrown out, the runner-up getting awarded the race and the stewards for him.
Okay, there we go. So we'll watch that play out then. Keep our eyes on this volatile analyst, though. The Betfair SP on the sportsbook, 11-1. So not unfancy. Typical York Sprint in that they went far side finally, and that you had to be sort of up there, G, didn't you? How's it cost him the race?
No, I think the right horse has won the race, and I think that he'll keep it in the stewards as well. I thought that he was by far on top when he did take his ground. No doubt about it, he has taken his ground, but I think he's got the race won at the time when he does it.
Are the stewards not a little bit more strict in their interpretation of the rules in recent months in the UK?
Yes, they have been. Very much so. But again, the inconsistencies at the moment, Barry, where...
the only thing is the runner-up never had to stop riding.
Yeah, I actually don't think that'll get turned over.
You don't?
No.
I wouldn't like to call it. We're watching ahead on now, before we go back for Cesarewitch time. Yep, I'm still good. I sort of dropped my mic. We're watching ahead on now. I tell you, he's cruised this horse, isn't he? He was a bit of a monkey when he was with Roger Varian, wasn't he? They couldn't quite get the best out of him. He's obviously a horse that needs to find a bit of trouble, but he got a bang there from Mr. Wagyu. Now volatile. I see you can sense him coming up, Callum. He's got his stick in the wrong hand. He's definitely let him drift, hasn't he?
Yeah.
It's a race-winning, all-cost manoeuvre. And Ronan Whelan's had to switch. He's come back. I'm going to say it cost him the race.
He's never had to stop riding, has he?
That's the problem. I think if he'd have got the rail, laugh a minute, instead of volatile analyst, I think he'd have won.
I don't have any problem with that at all.
You don't? No, you don't.
No, I think that's...
No, that's... I think, look, will punters be able to
Maybe
say
I'm talking
that?
through my pocket.
Well, I'm the same as you. But you did it on the places, Barry, as well. He was one of the each-way horses of the day. Lots of you would have been with that as well. So we'll keep abreast of that, guys. Volatile analyst for now, though. First past the post, that's for sure. Beats Laugh a Minute. Air Raid ran a massive race. He's come back to form, and Nomadic Empire in fourth as well. A typical York sprint. And I think that's us bidding farewell to York for 2021.
It is. Good riddance.
Oh! Good riddance. Your favourite horse has won the international there.
Very hard.
We had the Ebor, everyone back. It was brilliant. And you're saying good riddance to York.
Very hard track for a punter, isn't it? Don't you think, York? Very hard.
You've taken the family up there a couple of years ago. I remember I was there at the same time.
I know. I love York as a place. I love
Just good riddance to it.
I love the
Why do you
city.
think it's so
I love
hard
the
for a
track,
punter?
but I think for punters it's very difficult. They race all over the track, as we've seen today. So not only are you trying to find the best horse, at times you're trying to find which horse is going to be on the best ground. And it just seems to get the horses seem to win by wide margins a lot of the time in big races there, which just doesn't sit right with me when you get horses like strung out across the whole track. I think they get racing very, very early there because it's a long straight, and it can be quite a test up that straight. It suits horses like Mishriff, who obviously can really run their race right to the line, and I just think it takes a certain type of horse. Horses get yorked, don't they, as they say?
Well, I've always called it a red herring track.
Yeah.
I don't understand why it's not one of the fairest tracks in the country. I think Newbury probably is just about the fairest track.
Doncaster, I would say.
Donny and Newbury, that's fair.
Yeah.
That's a good shout. Doncaster. The bend at York is a bit tighter than maybe. If you were going to redo anything, it might be the bend, mightn't it? Because you don't know where they're going to come, and it's obviously not easy to stick to that far side, is it? It's easier to sort of chicane across.
It's not an easy place to guess what the ground is either. You often think it's fast there and it's not, and then you think
You're
it's
delighted to see the back of York.
Well, I love York, love the city, love the track, love going racing there, but I don't like betting there.
Yeah, all right. Tricky one. Are you the same? We haven't even had a chance to see where people want to go jumping later on this year. But listen, over the next couple of weeks, we will get to that. Jack Reeves doing our social today. I think he's been building some interesting clips out there. That'll be another one on Twitter very shortly indeed. All right, one more to go. And it is the Cesarewitch. 2 mile 4, Barry Orr. Where do we go? You painted your colours to the mast early. Pinned your colours to the mast and they're not painted. How do you paint your colours to the mast? Sometimes some of the sayings I get away with was doing them wrong on air. And loads of them.
Yes, I enjoy it though.
Corrected. You enjoy it, of course you do. I corrected myself there. Pinned your colours to the mast earlier on, Barry Orr. Fevros was one. What's the other?
Yeah, well, first of all, the head of the market, MC Muldoon for Ryan Moore, who was just touched off in Royal Ascot 6.0, which is 5-1. Burning Victory, another Willie Mullins runner who could be the pace angle here, is 8.4. 13, Live Your Dreams. Buzz, Friendless in the market, 8 to 14.5. The draw, hard to imagine the draw could have such a negative effect on a horse's price, but Buzz has drawn 6, and that could have a negative effect along with the ground as well. Call to Win, 13, 16.5. Micromanage. The 2 I like in it, 1 Willie Mullins, 1 Tom Mullins. Tom Mullins one is Takarengo. That was third in the race last year. Yeah. Showed a really good attitude in Clonmel last day on the flat to win. A pretty ordinary race, it has to be said, but obviously this has been his target all year since he was third in the race last year. Comes here off £7 higher mark, but he was only a 4-year-old last year, so I think he's got some improvement in him as well. I think he'll go close. And Feveros for Willie Mullins is the other one I like. They've put him away since he finished second to Coulthard in the GPT Hurl, which is the amateur handicap, on the Monday night at the Galway Festival. The time before that, he'd won a handicap in the Curragh, and he'd won it off 66. He got £17 for that. It was racing in Galway off a £17 higher mark. And they haven't ran him since. They weren't running the risk of maybe his handicap mark going up for this race. They've put him away. Trainers and past master are getting one ready first time out as well. So we're going to have 25 quid on Feveros at 21. Happy to be a price taker here. And I'm just betting these in the win market as well, please, G-Rod. And then you're going to have to scroll down below the fold to get to Tekarango, who's currently 80. We're going to have 25 quid on him at 80 as well, with John Egan in the plate there. An old team, those two.
Great stuff, Barry. So the Mullins 1-2 for Barry, but not quite as you might think it's, and not going for MC Muldoon either. Yeah, Takarengo, the more you listen to Barry talk there, I remember I just looked back at the result there, and of course it looked like Tom was going to win it. Of course, till Great Shot just kept on pouring it out. Last year's winner is back. What did Great Shot win off?
2-1 in running last year, would you believe, Dave?
Wow.
Takarengo. 2-1 in running.
Wow. Of course, of the 2 handicappers, you think that form might be reversed because Great White Shark, I've not seen her, have we, since running over us, but she's £10 higher as well. Okay, let's get the tips from the panel then. We'll see where Barry's going. G, take the floor, my man.
This is a Cesarewitch, isn't it?
Oh, we're agreeing here. Of course we are, aren't we?
Yeah, we like one here.
We do.
So let's hope that we're right. Calling the Wind.
Yes.
For Richard Hughes. Obviously won the race at Glorious Goodwood, where they raced up the straight, round the loop, back round, and then just 2.5 miles.
Going to stay all day, this chap.
And it was a remarkably good run last time out at Newbury.
Should have won, shouldn't he?
Mile and a half. Should have won that race.
Against a very progressive horse called Macram.
Absolutely. I think that the jockey thought they were getting there, and just the line didn't come, or maybe he just didn't quicken up in the way they thought they were going to, and ended up just getting beat. But
of course, he doesn't get a penalty for that now, does he? He's off a mark of 100.
Beautiful prep for this race.
Yeah.
And I'm quite hopeful that Calling the Wind will run well. And the other one I like is Snow a Lot.
Okay,
James Ferguson's runner. It's been improving steadily all season. Obviously, I've been handicapping these horses all year, and this horse just keeps coming up. As every time I handicap this horse, it seems to just run better and better and better. And I keep thinking, yeah, this also has got a big race in him at one point in his career. I am a little bit worried that this might come a little bit early for him, because it's a huge field handicap and he's still quite lightly raced. And I wonder if next year might be the year when he bags his big prize. But I don't want to miss him, because he's a huge price, isn't he? Around about 25, 30 odd to 1. So I've backed Snow a Lot each way, and I've backed Calling the Wind to win. But I must say, Dave, that what usually happens to me in these races is that I find the best British runner and then Willie Mullins beats me.
Could it be MC Muldoon?
Could be.
Ryan Moore, quick, of course, to jump on this one. Sometimes we sort of play the rider bingo with the Mullins lot, don't we? Who's going to land on what horse? I think we knew this chap was going to be it. When he won over hurdles at Galway form, advertised all over the place here, I think I said on this show, there's your Cesarewitch winner. I said it in print. 4-1, about a horse drawn 15 that's going to come from way off the pace, and I'm not totally convinced him in a battle is now too short for me. Hence the fact I'm on Calling the Wind, who I just think has to go well. £3 ahead of the handicapper, but MC Muldoon, I think he's the right one. Money all the time for Burning Victory. All these horses that come off, the dual purpose preparation. Where's Posty going?
Well, the draw isn't great, but I've gone each way on micromanage.
Really interesting horse, isn't he?
Yeah, as in it seems like that. I don't know. Maybe Willie Mullins is, but reading the quotes and that, it seems like he thinks that there's more to come from this horse. You know, I mean, he's been placed in a group race.
He's got a run in the Irish St Ledger this time last year.
Sounds like he works unbelievable at home.
They all thought it was going to be the next big thing over hurdles, didn't it? I don't think he's got his trip right over hurdles yet. I bet we see him in a handicap at Cheltenham, and I bet he could be really interesting one.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I mean, just Colin Keane up on board. I mean, like you say, your MC Muldoon is probably the pick, so Ryan Moore. But I think Barry said himself that Mullins' favourites don't always have the greatest record in this race. You know, as in he's gone at it mob-handed. So
stalls 7.
That's a worry. Yeah, it's a big concern. For
yeah.
sure.
So since 2015, it's gone to a double-figure stall. Although of course, Aim to Prosper, Frankie Dettori, doing what Frankie does in his own thing. Of course, he won in stall 1. That was back in 2012 for Brian Mear, massive prize. Big Easy, who won the Cesarewitch trial that year. Oh, it was a great day. That was. I was all over him. And he came from stall 2. I went to the Big Easy restaurant in London afterwards as well. It wasn't good. It was already booked, but we won the Cesarewitch on Big Easy. It was a mate's birthday, and we went to the Big Easy. It was,
Good day.
Still didn't pay for the bill that night. Managed to get away with it. So some great characters here. What about the market in this race? Where does it usually go? Obviously, some big prices, but I know a bit of a mixed bag, isn't it? 10-1, probably the medium price. And actually, there are some big prices. There's 50-1 Grametti. Remember when he won that? Adam Beschitzer. Now applying his trade in America. Scatter dice for Mark Johnson. But Willie Mullins, Barry, on the 4-timer, no trainer's ever won it 4 times before. He throws 6. And as I said to you at the start of the show, last year, I said, please, Dave, just remember when it comes to Cesarewitch time, 2021, just back a Mullins horse.
Yeah. Are they being very dismissive of Great White Shark's chances here at 36? Of her chances?
£10 higher, isn't she? So, I don't know.
Yeah.
Not at all. Back-to-back Cesarewitch winners is something I suppose you could put up. But it's Mullins, he can do it.
Yeah, wildly impressive, wasn't it, when it won last year?
I think he's ever climbed Mount Everest. Something like that, been to the moon. You know what I mean? It's the next step, isn't it? Jeff Bezos should be worrying, shouldn't he? If he goes into the retail business. You know, he just does everything, Mullins, doesn't he?
Do you think that, like we said earlier, jumps trainers have a good record in these races? Do you think jumps trainers are just better overall? You know, Willie Mullins and Nichols, and because Kingy has applied his trade on the flat this year and has won a bunch of good races.
The best dual-purpose trainer, certainly on these shores?
Kingy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think Ian Williams is a pretty fair operator.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Good shout.
Yeah, he's good.
Gary Moore.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, they're all out there, but I think Kingy would probably just about be the top, so he's obviously Trushan. He said earlier in the season, didn't he, when we look back on this season, we'll have to remember to fish out those quotes where Kingy said after Asymmetric won, I think it might have been Goodwood, that he said it's a regret that I haven't done more on the flat. You know, he's got the calibre of horses now.
But I think, it's very much a thing for the operation that they are trying to go almost in a flat, more of a flat orientated direction on there. I mean,
Long time since you had a Cheltenham Festival winner.
Micromanage being unshipped here. Has he
Yes,
lost
he
his
has.
horse? Am I looking at the right colours? Yeah.
You are, yeah. It's Colin Keane that's having a run down to the post, Barry. That's interesting. We'll keep an eye on that. While the guys are looking out for that, you can see Spotlight Verdict agreeing with me and G, calling the win. In fact, I'll tell you what, that Spotlight Verdict, I think it's pretty much got it absolutely right. Ginger Joe comes on and says, Burning Victory is a head case. Oh, is that right? But should relish this flat test,
Mackawee,
right?
I think that could be, lads.
yeah, it's not.
Wow.
Yeah, Mackawee.
Yeah, similar colours.
A horse, yeah, very, very similar colours. And thank goodness
The
that you've been
stripes on
given
the arms is Mackawee, yeah.
Yeah, thank
Or the
goodness.
chevrons on the arms.
Thank goodness you've been given an opportunity to notice that they're similar colours as well, because you probably would have been calling Postie's winner a different name had that gone past the post. All right, so Burning Victory.
Another Mullins, isn't he?
Is this the Triumph winner? Burning Victory? No?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it was, wasn't it? Yeah,
The lucky
of course.
Triumph
Better
winner.
known for the race where
Yeah.
Goshen fell at the
Goshen,
last.
yeah.
Which is, of course, folklore in this studio, of course, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, very much so. William Buick on, of course. This would be interesting, wouldn't it? If Will Buick goes and takes this race as well. What else has he got on the card later on? A great one, Ginger Joe. I like
Many
that.
behind was he going into today? 11?
Yeah, I've got a feeling it was, wasn't it? He's got Barney Roy coming up in the 4:45, classy operator, and then tomorrow, plenty of rides, full book pretty much, and on Monday, funnily enough, full book as well. So it is going to be an interesting race, no doubt about that. Mark McCann comes back on and says, "Burning and living your dream." So, all right, money now, of course, for Burning Victory. She's on a hat trick. She's got the draw, isn't she? What about living your dream? It was long range anti-post favourite for this. Was it Ebor as well?
Ebor, yeah. Big improver during the middle of the summer. The Godolphin horse, Live Your Dream.
They're having some day.
Probably been a little bit disappointing.
Adam Farah, perhaps
Is it Said Bin Saror going for
Is
the autumn double? Pretty sure it's Said,
Yeah,
isn't it?
that's right.
Great
Yeah, you're right.
So
Bedouin Story, the horse that I never saw coming.
not out of it. Not out of it.
Adam Farah, £5. Best £5 out there?
Well, that's what you said to me.
I think it's probably not a ridiculous statement. Yeah.
One of those questions knowing the answer. Trust me, he's decent. Miss Agger thinks so as well. Stephen Hughes, great to have you back, Stephen. Where have you been? 2 against the field, Elysian Flame and Gubernator. Now, Elysian Flame, of course, is tied in with MC Muldoon. Stephen, I wasn't sure, having gone up £4 since Royal Ascot, thus on the same mark as Muldoon, that he was, I just thought, a handicapping point of view. Can see him running well, definitely, without question. And what does the spotlight say about him? Let's have a little look. Strongly rung 2-4, going to be up his street, and of course he's got form of Call in the Wind and that, hasn't he? And Gubernator
Yeah.
for the McCains and Tim Leslie.
Well, he's on the hat trick, isn't he? On the flat, won his last couple of starts, York and Haydock.
If you are with a low drawn runner, you want Gubernator to go and crack on with it.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, and like, hey, Donald McCain runner, you'd be surprised if he doesn't.
Yeah.
And I think his form ties in with one of the G-Rod selection, doesn't it?
Gubernator.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's got no chance.
Goober.
Yeah.
What do you mean he's got no chance?
Gooby, no, he's got no chance. That was not up to this standard.
Might want to press up on that one then. Frizzy Red comes back on and says, Margaret Dumont, 80-1 each way, 6 places on the Sportsbook and Exchange then. All right, okay, fine. Margaret Dumont, better known as an all-weather horse. Hugo Palmer, second in the Dewhurst, of course. I wondered whether she had had too many miles on the clock when I was looking down. The excellent Kevin Morland's trend column that you've seen in your papers and on your website. This is a huge trend follow a race, of course. Tick, 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 tick. Lots of 9s out of 10s on the last years and all that sort of stuff. It was the amount of runs. You want a slightly more fresh horse, as Willie Mullins tends to show us, certainly in the last 3 years. Great to have Frizzy Red back on as well. What about Withhold? A word for Withhold, who certainly Barry has put up a couple of times on this show. James Dorn in the plate, previous winner of the race. When he won this race, of course, it was, group races after that. It was an absolute spread eagle job, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Smash-up job, wasn't he?
Remarkable. Probably the most impressive Cesarewitch winner in recent times.
Well, yeah, last year's was pretty good though.
What Great White Shot.
Yeah. No, Margaret Dumont that's an all-weather horse, I think.
Yeah. What about Scaramanga, Barry, a horse that you've successfully put up on this show before for Paul Nicholls?
Yeah, he was just a little bit disappointing last day in York. Obviously, the time before that in Newbury, we backed him and he's won well, but there was no obvious excuse for him in York, and maybe he's just handicapped to the hilt on the flat now. They're obviously giving him one more go, and then he'll be back. I'd say he doesn't want really soft ground, so I'd be surprised if you see him during the depths of winter. He'd be more a spring horse, I would imagine, for the spring festivals.
He's 151 over hurdles. The Scaramanga. Does that show everything that's wrong with the British handicapping system?
Yeah.
Yes.
It pretty much does, doesn't it? I saw a horse of Colin Tizard's. I switched my attention to Exeter this week.
Yeah.
Again, just going off the court a little bit. Tizard had a horse that won twice at Utox to storm home. He actually pulled up in the end. But he'd gone up something like ridiculous mark, 149 or something like that. And he's running in a early season handicap. He's got no chance.
There has been a big review into all this, though, again.
There has, but when does it kick in? I mean, we did cover it, didn't we? They're going to give leeway, aren't they, basically?
Allegedly.
Look at it. Allegedly so. Oh, we're doing a G-Rod there.
They're very touchy about this.
Yeah.
I can tell you that from experience.
They have to reassess. They have to reassess how they're what they're doing to rate horses. It's just not sustainable what they're doing at the moment. When you look at some of the horses that, like the horse that won the Adonis last year, or Solo, when he ran well there, won the Adonis for Paul Nichols, like he got a rating of 150 something. Like he was a champion hurling contender nearly. You know,
it's the 4-year-olds who've been badly rated, isn't it? You know, it's almost like ruining their careers, isn't it? And we wonder why some of these Triumph horses go missing. Sometimes we think it's because they've had too hard a campaign in the 3-year-old, 4-year-old, but.
It's also the time it takes them to come down, you know, as in it's absolute madness.
Yeah, and they're going to start looking at horses that have run a certain amount of times, aren't they, and veterans and all that sort of stuff. So that will rage on through the winter. Who likes Buzz out there? Jess Stafford, of course, and the Thurlow Thoroughbreds, former Betfair, old Jess was, now at RTV. Buzz he's a horse that could have a say over Sticks. I just wonder whether some of these horses would go chasing as well. It'd be great to see, wouldn't it? Platform 19, I'd like to see him go jumping. Right old horse he is for the Royal Ascot Racing Club. Michael Bell, Clifford Lee, I like him. He would be on my shortlist for this as well. They're going in. How are you feeling about the call? Are you match ready?
Oh, yeah, sorry, I forgot I'm calling it. Yeah, let me get my runners ready.
You're going to have to do this off your phone.
Yeah, I'll have to do it off my phone. But, I'm an experienced race caller, so I'm sure it'll be fine, Dave.
I think Enzo's looking forward to this clip, isn't he? Let's face it. Barry, let's go to you then. MC Muldoon, no chance he's not going to go off favourite. We knew that.
Clear favourite 5.7 into 9-2 now. 8-4 Burning Victory. Some money for Buzz into 11, so he's a 10-1 chance. Live Your Dream, the same price. Calling Win 13. Micromanage 16, along with Feveros. A few quid for Feveros, not just the 25 quid we've had on him.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been a great day for Barry. Let's hope you followed him in. Guys, this is our last race. It's been fun this afternoon. You've welcome back.
It's been great to be back.
Yeah, you've got a few dates in the book, haven't you? Coming back strongly.
Yeah, loving it. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
No, we won't send him on his bike again, don't worry. You'll be seeing plenty of Posty through the winter. Gee, you've been having a couple of stints, haven't you?
Yeah, this is my last one for a few weeks, so I thought I'd get a few things off my back today.
Okay, fair enough. You're going on a bit of a trip, aren't you? You've got a kid's birthday coming up, all that sort of
stuff? Got all sorts going
actual
on the
life.
next few weeks. Yeah, actual life, not work, which is quite nice. Well, Cheltenham.
Are you going to go to Cheltenham, are you?
Yeah, I'm going to go to Cheltenham, yeah.
Right, if you see the big bear, go and give him a poke. We go again. All right. Hasn't it been great? All right. Well, Silver Trophy, what won that at Chepstow? Do we know?
Yeah, it was... I watched it and I can't remember.
Of course. It wasn't
Orby's Legend.
There you go.
Orby's Legend. That's what I put up.
Well done, Dave.
I didn't back it. I put it up yesterday, didn't I? Feature show was a bit of a guess, to be honest. Because you just don't really know, do you, at this time?
Something flew over in second, and McManus is the real eye catcher.
They leave you out too?
Oh, he's a monkey, that horse.
Yeah.
Woo! I've done some dough on that. Yeah,
he's a very naughty
on the flat as well, isn't he? Yeah. Oh, did he come second that?
Yeah.
Oh man.
Roland Ward finished fourth.
That there you go then.
Well, I've got a little each way multiple going, so I'm happy that he plays.
What's the others? We've got Calling in the Wind here.
Bayside Boy, Roland Ward, Not That Fweezy, the next at Chepstow, and one later on at Colchester, at Chelmsford.
It's your local track. You should know, man.
Yeah. Mr. Whiplash or something.
Oh, that's in the race. Yeah,
hold on, they're getting off. They're almost off.
Here we go.
And they're off.
Surprise, surprise, on RTV we've got a split screen.
Oh, no.
Like we did for the Group 1 last week. I mean, good luck with the call, G-Rod.
There's loads of them all up there at the moment. It's a big cavalry charge. It's like the Newmarket Town Plate. You ever seen that race where they go through the town?
Hancock won that, didn't he? The old health secretary. He won that one year.
Did he?
1 from 1 on the under rules.
Oh, brilliant! Anyway, is this Scaramanga on this side?
Sunset, wouldn't he?
Yeah, well,
Super Callinistic.
There you go. Thanks, Barry.
Tristan Davis horse.
Speedo Boy's up there. Land of Winter's up there, and so is Scaramanga. I'm convinced he is, but I don't know if he is. Where's Buzz? Buzz is right at the back. Where's MC Muldoon? Oh, is he in last?
He's got to be near the back,
He's absolutely last almost. Oh, no, there he is, right in the pack.
The Max we
can right next to him.
Feveros, however we say it, Barry, you've got a lovely position.
Yeah, he seems to be travelling well in himself. Speedo Boy, I think, is in the orange jacket, is running second. Burning Victory, I think, is in there as well. Yeah, there's no real massive change at this early stage, Dave. 5.9 MC Muldoon, 8.6 Burning Victory, Micromanage. Dubinator has come in for a little bit of support, is into around the 15 mark.
Yeah, they've definitely anchored it now, haven't they? They've found their positions. It gets rough in that mid-pack. What would you be saying in there, Posty?
I mean, I'm a jump jockey. I'd be fine, wouldn't I? But I mean, yeah, as in, like, there's not a lot of racing room right now, and as you say, pace has steadied up. Probably a lot of people wanting a bit of light, but for now, I'm not sure a hell of a lot's going to change for a couple of furlongs as they sort of gradually make their turn in straight and up for home.
A couple of struggling to go to pace.
Yeah, there's some
they've
slow
definitely
boats
injected
in
it,
this,
haven't they?
Yeah, Super Calonistic's kicking on, isn't he, in front with Speedo Boy? I don't know what that slow boat is in third, but that can't go to pace. Mancini, has moved into third now?
I think that
Blue
might
cap.
Burning Victory's
That's
right up there.
Takarengi, isn't it? That's no, not Takarengi.
Manzini and Stance to Paris, I think it is. Manzini and Dance to Paris are third and fourth.
Hold on, Barry Cheaton, he's got the commentary on, hasn't he?
Spanish kisses. One thing I have noticed about the run, Barry, MC Muldoon is hardening, and I had a look to see exactly where he was. Closer than you might think.
Yeah, he is. He's currently into 4.7 now, Dave, and Burning Victory shortening as well into 5.4. So, Live Your Dream shortening as well, also.
I'll tell you what, Calling the Wind as well. Watch him. He's a strong traveller. Pat Dobbs, he's got his bum right up in the air at the moment. He's going to need a bit of luck. Right, we're getting serious, guys. Rodzinski out the back, friend of the show, old Rodzinski, isn't he? OK, MC Muldoon, where is he? Starting to row a bit.
He's travelling in the mid-pack, Dave. He's going well, MC. And Snowalot's going well on the outside as well in the white.
Oh, yes, Hayley Turner, G's pick, of course. McAwee getting in some trouble out the back.
Foveros is finding a bit of trouble
Look
in
at Buzz. He's coming, isn't he?
Buzz is
the big
travelling
grey
all right.
horse, Buzz.
Sheen Murphy.
Oh, Calling the Wind's going well.
I'll tell you what, Call the Wind's going really, really nice. What's this, Spanish Kiss? Is this for William Knight and Callum Shepherd under the penalty? Calling the Wind wants
it's
a bit
getting
of
rough
run,
in
isn't
there,
it?
Dave.
MC Muldoon's gone, surely. Look at the price.
Yeah, he's in big trouble,
he's
MC.
really struggling.
Spanish
Where's the
Kiss.
Mullins horse? Burning Victory.
Burning Victory, Spanish Kiss. That's
Calling the Wind in fourth.
Buzz.
Buzz is
Look at Buzz. He's
cantering.
cruising. What price is he going? Oh, look at that Burning Victory going short. Could this be another for that man Mullins? Burning Victory then strides for home. Nicky Henderson. Snow a lot trying to do it. Calling the Wind terribly outpaced. Spanish Kiss in third. The big two lock-ons. Call it G.
I think that the winner's in front, Dave, but I hope not, because Calling the Wind's still
I think
coming.
Burning Victory's going to get this. This
Burning
could be
Victory.
Irish
William
once
Buick
again.
on a four-timer.
Look at this, unbelievable. The Mullins
It's
is gonna
hard
get
work.
it.
Here comes Buzz.
Calling the
Buzz is
Wind. Here
coming.
comes
Buzz.
Buzz.
Buzz
It's
is
going to
getting
do
something.
Nicky
Buzz is
Henderson.
there.
Finally one back for Britain.
Go on the Buzz.
Buzz has done it. Jess Davin and Thurlow Thoroughbreds. Wow, the anti-post Gamble. They were worried about the draw. Great ride. That man, Oisin Murphy. How close did he come, Willie Mullins? He threw 6 at it. The springer in the late market was Burning Victory. Loads of you out there punted that. Only second, Barry Orr.
Burning Victory hit a low of 10-1 on 1.10 for 3,262 quid traded on Burning Victory at that price. Buzz went out to a high of 26, Dave, in the run to the post. Only 2 quid trade at 26, but larger sums all the way down. Had a Betfair SP of 11.5, your winner. But what a ding-dong battle all the way to the post, and they pulled well clear of the third.
We have been treated to some right old finishes, Barry Orr, haven't we? Calling the Wind in third. Big win in the Jockeys' Championship, Barry Orr.
Yeah, obviously, big win for Oisin Murphy, and he solidifies his position at the head of the Jockeys' Championship. But it's not a market that people are betting on at the moment just because of what happened with him yesterday. There was a bit of uncertainty about when a ban would kick in, but I'm sure it'll be something that'll be priced up before the end of the day.
OK, so Cesarewitch is done 2021. It wasn't Mullins. It was that man, Nicky Henderson.
Fair training performance as well. Like, we haven't seen him since Aintree.
Anything you can do,
Yeah, the
I
entry
can do
Hurley
better.
was second,
Yeah, he's a horse that... He's got scope to go fencing, hasn't
Well, I mean,
he? He could step up to the staying hurdle division.
Well,
There's room in that one.
I mean, I suppose it. I mean, crikey, he's finished second in a 2.5 mile Grade 1, didn't he, at Aintree?
definitely wants a trip, doesn't he?
So
They keep them to 2 miles, these horses that are well handicapped, because that's where the pots are, aren't they? Ever heard of handicaps?
Yeah.
The Betfair at Christmas at Ascot, for example, you know.
Yeah, and in the Betfair
And the Betfair itself, yeah.
You know, and then he's second down.
That's where the pots are, but this is a horse that definitely wants to stretch. We know that.
Yeah, I mean, look, it would be very interesting. I mean, you'd think they're either going to go up and triple, like you say, whether they would experiment jumping a fence with him.
Yeah.
Be interesting. Yeah.
2 horses prime for the day, really going for it. The narrative is set now for the jump season. The Brits are coming back strong.
Absolutely, and
Until Bob Olinger comes out to play.
It's good to see a Cesarewitch that isn't won by Willie Mullins.
Well, I don't know. He's had a massive go at it. Calling the Wind in third as our selection. Did what we thought he did. He's just come up against two that were just ready for the day. And
He's come up against two jumpers and got beaten by him. He's the best flat horse in the race anyway, Calling the Wind, that's for sure. He ran very well, Dave, didn't he, Calling the Wind?
Gubernator was up there for the places as well, and Elysian Flame that some of you liked.
Big shout out to Tom Siegel, because of course he tipped him anti-post Buzz for the race, I think at 16 to 1. He also tipped Volatile Analyst today at York, so a great day for Tom.
Yeah, okay, Tom will be involved in our big jump off that's coming up, as will G. Posty might have something to say about that. Barry, great to have you back on, man. Will you be with us for Champions Day next Saturday?
Thanks, lads. Always a pleasure. Yeah, looking forward to it. See you next Saturday.
Great stuff. Loads of early winners from Barry. Great to have him on. Posty, good to have you back, man. Superb.
Cheers,
How's it going at the farm at the moment? Got all the youngsters coming out?
Yeah, exciting time of year. Plenty of young talent ready to go. And yeah, with some nice horses, with a horse called Night Duty with Fergal O'Brien. Looking forward to seeing him.
Let's get our jumping heads on. Young jockey to follow over jumps. You're the BHA coach.
Young jockey to follow. I'm going to Liam Harrison. I think he's going to have a huge year. Yeah, I
love that.
Champion conditional.
He's under the Posty wing, is he?
No, he's actually not.
Right, okay, all right.
No.
Putting the pressure off your boys. G, you've earned your break. You've had a great performance the last couple of weeks. It's been great fun as ever. The viewers love you, man. Big Bear, we'll see you in the jump season, I guess.
Yeah, I'll be back in the jump season. I can't wait for it. I like Colleen Quinn.
We were talking about this yesterday.
Yeah.
Is that how? Has he got that name totally wrong?
I did the course walker. He rode a winner at Worcester for John Joe the other day. Nice young rider, nice young man as well.
The future is bright then. But next week it's all about Champions Day. For myself, Dave Orton, we've enjoyed having you here on RP Live. What a hoot.